Councilors, let's get this meeting started. Councilors. Good evening. Today is Tuesday, January 17th, 2023. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2022, this meeting will be hybrid, allowing participation both in person in the City Council chambers and remotely. This meeting can be accessed through our Zoom link. It can also be accessed through our Facebook Lawrence City Council page and our YouTube Lawrence City Council page. At this point, I'll ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Councilor De La Cruz.
Present.
Councilor Payano. Absent. Council Vice President Reyes.
Present.
Councilor Infante.
Present.
Councilor Selena Reyes. Noted absent. Councilor Del Rosario.
Present.
Councilor Giovanni Rodriguez. And Council President LaPlante.
Present. Will you please join me in a moment of silence? At this point, I'll ask the Vice President and State Representative Reyes to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We're going to go right to public participation. As is usual, you have 2.5 minutes to address the chair. At 2 minutes, the bell will ring, reminding you that you got 30 seconds left to finish up your comments. First person is Mr. Mali.
Humayun Mali, 53 Chester Street. Good evening, honorable members. In this important election year, we the citizens are united to demand from Honorable Mayor Brian DePena and this council the best contract for Lawrence police officers. Lawrence Police, with the impeccable leadership by Honorable Chief Roy Vask, has done an excellent job to protect our citizens. Lawrence Police, this union of pride and honor, deserve the best contract. Lawrence police officers must know we are thankful for their sacrifices and their hard work. Million thanks to our DPW employees and their union. Lawrence is a beautiful city because of your hard work. We have a crisis since with a salary of more than $260,000 per year, we do not have any superintendent for our public school. We respectfully request from this honorable council, please get involved in hiring the best superintendent for our public school. We are proud as Laurentians to be the best example of the respect for the union right from our police officers, firefighters, DPW and teachers union. In this year of election, remember your campaign promise, Save Lawrence, Prosper Lawrence is only possible if we have the excellent contract for Lawrence Police. Let's unite. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Dick Russell.
Good evening, councilors. My name's Dick Russell. I still reside at 34 Cross Street. Several issues. It might have been nice if there had been a real live veteran in the picture of the 100-year-old veteran at his birthday party. I didn't realize that serving on the city council counted as being a veteran. Next, since the Board of Health falls under the umbrella of the Inspectional Service Department, why isn't the acting director of the ISD posting numbers regarding the COVID status in the city of Lawrence? Continuing on, who in the city is allowing contractors to excavate streets in the winter season? The contractors have enough problems filling these backfilling these excavations in good weather to prevent potholes and sinkholes, and the city expects them to do an even job in worse weather conditions? Or have we forgotten the paving fiasco from about 10 years ago? With the way the city's throwing raises around like frisbees, why doesn't the city hire people who would be classified as backfill inspectors to ensure that the backfilling is properly done and compacted? Last, regarding FOIA requests in the city. First, a FOIA request for information is from the federal government. Massachusetts has a similar program called Public Record Request. A request by me was filed on the 29th of December, titled FOIA 715. All requests have a 10-day response time on them. Either requested information is sent in 10 days, as I understand it, which would have ended on last Friday, Friday the 13th, or a reasonably applicable Mass General Law exemption for the request's refusal. My request was for information regarding raises to non-union employees in the city. Contrary to some people's wishes, salaries paid to public employees is a requestable public record. From a booklet from the Secretary of State's office states in part, for example, an individual's public employment salary is public record, but the source of income, amount of private income is generally not public. The delay makes me wonder if there are people who do not want the salaries, the raises, or the effects of the stipends published. As always, I thank you for the time.
Thank you. The next speaker is Jeffrey Petrillo.
Good evening, council members. I'm Jeffrey Petrillo, and I live at 341D South Broadway in Lawrence. I've been listening to a few of the city council meetings recently, and we've been talking about the subject of public signs in reference to the ordinances in the city and them being revoked or taken down accordingly. So the subject I'm speaking about is about the street sign ordinances. On September 14, 2022, there was a few city officials called to 341D South Broadway because of a blatantly obvious parking infraction to the 2 no parking anytime signs, including Councilor Payano. As standing 25 feet from a DPW supervisor and listening to the owner of A&M Auto Body tell city officials such lies as Jeff Petrillo made those signs and he installed them. We imagine he sold that same rubbish story to Councilor Payano, who then came out to converse with the owner, Angelo Memlo. Before any more rumors get out of hand, we should refer to the actual city ordinance done on October 4, 2011, and here's a copy of it right here. I've already distributed this a few months back. I also suggest to Mr. Payano and other city councilors that they might be able to refer to City Clerk Eileen Banal, who at the time was chairing the District E City Councilor position, and I believe she was chairing the Ordinance Committee. So she would be a bundle of information for the rest of you city councilors to refute any nonsense stories that I made those signs and I installed them. Thank you.
Thank you. The sheet with the names and numbers, names and addresses and comments of the participants are part of the public record. At this point, I will also ask the clerk to please call attendance for Councilor Rodriguez and Councilor Selena Reyes.
To call. Reyes.
Present.
Councilor Rodriguez.
Councilor President, I
understand. Can we let the Councilor, the Vice President go first? Vice President?
can we take document 523 out of order?
Motion to take document 523, authorization of expenditures of grants for the Shannon Grant, has been asked to take out of order. Is there a second? Second by Councilor Levy. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Representative, you asked to take it out of order?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
So Budget and Finance Committee, so that would be the vice chair. Mr. Rodriguez?
The Budget and Finance met and discussed item 523. This item was sent to the full council with a favorable recommendation, and I would like to make that as a form of a motion.
Second.
We actually.
Motion's been made and properly second, Mr. Chairman.
Through Mr. Chair, this item was sent out to the full council with a favorable recommendation, and everybody that is involved in this grant was invited, so we would like to extend the opportunity for them to speak as of how they actually benefit and what they're doing and how we can collaborate with different departments to make sure that this is happen and getting positive results.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I got a list here of the individuals who or organizations that are represented. Is Ms. Shepherd here? Maybe you could help identify who's here and which organizations they're with? Would you do that?
Yeah, most definitely.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we have Beth. She's here to present she's here on behalf of the Merrimack Valley YMCA. She will speak a little bit about the program.
Hello, my name is Beth Ann Schmidt, and I am Director of Grants Management at the Merrimack Valley YMCA. The Merrimack YMCA has been a proud collaborator on the Shannon Grant for many years, and we're asking for funding to help fund 22 out of our 100 at-risk youth that are enrolled in our Teen Achievers program. And that program helps foster their leadership development. It helps with social development, enrichment activities, health and wellness, as well as career and academic development, all happening at the Merrimack Valley YMCA. Any questions?
Yes, Councilor Del Rosario?
Thank you, Council President, through you. And what is the amount on the funding that you're asking for the 22 kids?
Oh, sorry.
What is the amount, and how will you divide that amount into providing the services? How are you going to spend the money?
So we are requesting $22,000, and with that, from my understanding of the grant, $11,000 is a match, and but the amount is $22,000, and then with that, we will be using the funding actually to help support our staffing for the Teen Achievers program.
So how much out of the 22 is going to a staffing, and how much is going to a program?
Well, the staffing is for the staffing of the program, and so we're looking at, for Lennis Perez, who is our leader of youth development. She is actually the one who would be, we would be using the funding for.
One last question, and how do you identify if those 22 kids or youth as a risk? From where? Is it from your program? You guys went to the project? How do you guys ID those 22 kids?
Sure. Typically, Lennis works with a variety of different community organizations, family services, for one, to help identify some of the youth. We're actively involved with a lot of the students within the community and understand, many of them may need assistance. And so as a leader within Lawrence, we have a variety of different ways to point to the needs of the students.
Councilor Rodriguez?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I'm gonna just leave my comment for the end of every person that would like to speak, and then at the end I will say something.
Ms. Shepherd? Is this grant that you have in the program, is it any different than what you had last year? Anything different in your program from last year to this year's program?
The only difference would be some of the students that would be coming in would be expanded in terms of that it could be new youth coming in. But in terms of the design of the program for Teen Achievers, we're not making any major changes to the structure of that grant.
Okay. Is there any component of this that deals with gender identity or sexuality?
In terms of gender identity, I mean, it is something that the Y, being a place of inclusion, is supportive. And in terms of specific topics, we do have topics that are talking about sexuality and making sure that, you know, things like safe sex are discussed. But in terms of, you know, a specific cohort that is for that specifically, there isn't. But the Y is a place of inclusion.
Thank you very much. Any other counselors? If not, we'll move on to the next one. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Oh, did you speak? I'm sorry, Counselor De La Cruz.
Thank you. Money goes to help the kids with the social issues, the social emotional, those kind of problems that kids are getting very depressed lately.
Yes. So Merrimack Valley YMCA does do a lot with social emotional learning. We do pre and post, not really testing, but before we meet with the children, and then we use an insight that will give us demographics in terms of how the children have progressed, you know, in terms of looking at their stress level, looking at their education, you know, has that changed? But the majority of it is actually focused in on social emotional well-being, helping kids manage not only, you know, their school life, but also that emotional side of things. And, you know, as the Y is a place for students to come and express themselves through sport, through a variety of different activities, so we have those things for them.
My other question is, will that mentoring guide the student to continue their education, go to college, inform them about everything that have to do with college prep?
The Teen Achievers program actually works with the students in terms of what a lot of their goals are. There are a variety of different tours that happen to different college campuses. They'll go to Merrimack College, University of Massachusetts at Lowell, as well as, I believe last year they also went to some of the schools in Worcester. And so the college application process, helping them through that, helping them to learn about what opportunities are out there, are a large part of the Teen Achievers program.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Yes, Counselor Levy.
Hi. The Teen Achievers program starts in October, but it actually goes through the school year, and then we also have, in addition, a summer program for out-of-school time as well. Pardon me? This amount is just only for 1 year? This is for 1 year of funding. So this is the first time it's going to be funded with this line? No, Teen Achievers has been funded in the past for a similar amount. Last year, I believe there was an additional COVID funds that were given as well for like $3,100 and $25, I believe. So, but the program has actually, we've been working with the Shannon Grant for many years. This is my first year working at Merrimack Valley YMCA, but I do know that we have a long history with this grant. The Teen Achievers program, through the support of the Shannon Grant, has been very important to helping us achieve the goals of reaching as many kids as we can. The purpose of the grant is, as I said, we're helping at-risk students. We're helping them not only educationally, but also, with career goals. Some kids aren't necessarily college-bound, so helping them to realize, okay, what sort of skills would they need if they aren't interested in going to college. So really, the different things that we focus in on, there's, 6 different sections in it, where we focus in on leadership, academics, and in addition, like the health and welfare of the students. And so it has been, this is one of those programs where when you go into the Lawrence Y after school, the place is literally exploding with teen and youth that are taking advantage of the different programs that we have to offer. Teen Achievers is only one of them. We have other programs that help children that are, perhaps more academically inclined through the Adelante program, but the Teen Achievers, the idea is to truly try to help those that, are not necessarily, focusing on Adelante and wanting to go to a private school, but still want to excel, in their academics, want to excel socially, and want to, develop their different leadership skills.
Do you have any statistics from before regarding the program that you can share with us?
Any examples of the program?
Any statistics on how successful was the program before?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
Okay, so you have any things regarding the program on how successful it was?
How successful the program was? Each year we have a variety of different children that come through the program, and one of the things that I have to say that's been really successful is one of the things that Lennis wants to do with this is make sure that not only do the kids enroll in this program, but also have an opportunity to give back. So many of the kids help to volunteer in a lot of the different programming that we have at the Y. Many of the students will volunteer their time in our food pantry. They'll help out at a lot of the different YMCA sponsored events that happen, whether it's the Halloween event on the Common. And, but those are just like some of the things that the students actually provide and learn and have experience in doing.
So our president asked regarding if we teach the teenagers about sexuality. So who teaches that?
Who teaches the programs? Lennis Perez is the person who is involved. Actually, she's over at the Y right now, and so couldn't be here. So she's actually the main person who oversees all of the youth development programs at the Merrimack Valley Y. And in addition to that, she has support staff that are under her for to help run the program.
So she is the one who runs the complete program.
Yes. She's the one in charge of the complete program, and then she has other support staff that help her. Thank you.
Is that it? Oh, I'm sorry, Councilor Rodriguez.
I have a few questions, so I prefer to just give it out to each of the recipient of the grant. Excuse me. So you currently receive $22,000 out of the $250,000 that we are getting in the city of Lawrence through this grant, correct?
Yes, we are requesting $22,000.
Okay, and that's, you received similar amount of money for the last perhaps few years?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And my question will be, what is the typical characteristic of a kid that is a perfect candidate to be a recipient of this program? What are those specific things that you're looking into a kid to be able to provide service other than violence? And if it is through violence, how you guys identify that kid as a risk?
In terms of what we define as at risk, one of the things that, how do I explain this? The characteristic of the kids that are coming to the Lawrence Y are a variety of the different Lawrence students. And in terms of, you know, right. Right. No, I understand that. And oftentimes what we are trying to do is we're trying to help kids that are oftentimes at risk of, you know, failure in school. When we have someone who is sent to us a referral, you know, oftentimes say from like family services, oftentimes it is them who can, you know, give us the insight of, okay, this is a student who is, you know, at risk of failing academically.
I'm so sorry to interrupt. My name is Joe Augusto. I'm the executive director at the Lawrence Y. I feel like I'm putting my poor grant writer under fire here. I didn't stand up because we wanted Beth Ann to.
Before you go on, just so that all of us know who you are and for the record, just give us your name one more time.
Sure, Joe Augusto. I'm the executive director at the Lawrence YMCA.
Augusto?
Augusto, A-G-O-S-T-O.
Thank you,
yes.
sir. All right.
Sorry about that. I hate to interrupt. To answer your question, because I'm in the space, we provide a space, a safe space for all of anybody who wants to come in, to be honest with you. So our numbers have grown since we hired Lennis and since the pandemic. Our numbers have grown exponentially. So we went from serving 0 youth and teens during the pandemic. Now we have 250 kids running through on a daily basis. So a lot of it happens organically. So we find out through our engagement with many of our youth and teens. We have programs for them, but we also have workforce development. So a lot of our teens are working for us in various spaces to kind of figure out what it is that they want to do. They are also volunteering for us in many spaces as well, for all the resources that we provide to the community. So I would say that when you ask what are the characteristics we're looking for, honestly, we're not trying to pin any individuals for this work. They're organically coming to us, and we're identifying them as we go along. We have 100 kids that we have pinned for Teen Achievers right now, and we already have our 22 youth and teens kind of picked out for this particular program and for these benefits. So, and also from a resource standpoint, we're looking to bring on, we already we elevated one of our staff who got their graduate's degree, and now they're working on social emotional resource work. So we added that to our staffing of this type of program, and then we're looking to do more of that actually, to add more resources, because we're, as everybody in here I'm sure is, grossly understaffed, and we're over capacity. So we're looking to increase our resources for the kids.
So in how the service that you provide will reflect into the result of perhaps stay away out of violence?
Sure. There's many ways that we're looking at this, and we're actually looking to do more with other organizations as well. So if there's a resource that somebody needs in the community that we don't provide, we can at least point them in the right direction with many of our partners. So we want, for the most part, I'm thinking of one youth in particular who we're working with right now as a teen, going through a lot, left school, but he always comes back to us, and he asks us for advice. So that's the kind of relationships we have with the teens and youth. So we're looking to, that's how we identify them. That's how, and then we know where to kind of position them in terms of resources, in terms of engagement, in terms of, hey, you know what, we don't have what you need, but we can provide it for you this way. And then we talk with our partners.
And my last question to you is, I know a little bit of the organization, and I know that you guys provide a variety of services.
Sure.
So when a kid comes to you with some type of issues in terms of violence, do you provide like a membership to the club, older classes that probably guide them through to do perhaps music arts or something like that?
So we never turn anybody away. There is, you do not get turned away from the Y because you cannot pay. So yes, they do have access to a membership. They do have access to our music clubhouse, anything that they're interested in. So we're about to reopen up for open gym, so to speak. It's a little bit more supervised, but it's open gym. Giving them an outlet, a physical outlet. We give them a musical outlet. We give them whatever the outlet is that they need where they feel comfortable coming into our space, but we will not turn anybody away.
Thank you so much. No more questions.
Anybody else? Thank you so much, appreciate.
Sorry to jump in late, guys.
Oh,
Thank you, I
no
appreciate
worries.
you letting me up.
And you're with which, YM or YW?
We're the YMCA.
YM, thank you so much. Ms. Shepherd, who's next?
Now we're gonna have Jonathan Torres. He's from the Family Services of the Merrimack Valley.
Good evening, City Council. I'm the Director of Family Services for the Youth Development Program. How we utilize the grant, the Shannon grant, is we, at Family Services, have the Arise Life Skill Curriculum to 48 at-risk youth, ages 12 to 18, living in the city of Lawrence. At-risk youth will be identified through the current network of community partners, including the Lawrence Prevention Department, the Lawrence Public Schools, the Juvenile Court, Family and Community Resource Centers, and the Department of Children and Families. These youths will be identified at risk and may include youths who are on probation, have an active CRA, or have been acting out in home, in the community, or at school. These acting out behaviors may include school truancy, running away from home, and training or aggressive behavior. Youth who have committed a crime are receiving a minimum of 6 months of supervision through the probation department may be referred. Family Services facilitate 4 cohorts with the Arise Life Skill Curriculum, reaching a total of 48 youth, 12 per cohort. Program participant will participate in a 8-week group that incorporates lessons from the Arise Life Skill Curriculum. The curriculum uses an engaging structure, easily understood, lessons on multiple topics designed to enhance life skills and develop leadership quality. The program gives at-risk youth the tools they need to escape gang life, stay out of prison, and become successful, productive member of society. Some lessons include anger management, school dropout prevention, conflict resolution, drug and alcohol abuse prevention, gun awareness and safety, domestic and sexual abuse, how to find a job, how to manage money, and health and hygiene. Arise Life Skills lessons are designed for the youth who have difficulties with reading and writing. 2 groups are held over the summer during the school vacation, and 2 others are held in the evening in fall and spring. Some of you have been part of our graduation over the summer, where we graduated 30 participants after completing the 2 cohorts over the summer.
Counselor Infante.
Thank you, through your president. How much is Family Services asking for out of the grant?
$22,000.
Anybody else? Nobody else? Okay.
Just to clarify.
Oh, Counselor Rodriguez.
You say it all, thank you so much. But you say anywhere between 12 to 48?
No, to 18. 12 to 18.
12 to 18.
Yes.
Thank you. Is this program the same as last year's program, or is there a fundamental difference in this year's program?
With this grant, we do the same curriculum through the whole year.
And Inside the program, is there any gender identity or sexuality
Not
issues
through
that are
this
addressed?
funding.
Pardon me?
Not through this funding.
Not through this funding. Okay. Okay, anybody else wish to speak on this item? Okay, thank you so much. Ms. Shepherd, who's next?
We have Arelis Huerta, she's the, from the YWCA.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Arelis Gandarilla from the YWCA Northeastern Massachusetts. And the Shannon Grant funding we utilize is that we intentionally try to seek out different entities, such as currently we're in Lair. We worked with Phoenix Academy prior to being a charter school. My goal is to get into DYS. But programs where we know students have been identified as maybe perhaps dropping out of high school, being teen moms, and so other characteristics. When we go in there, we use one of the curriculums that we use is called Safe Dates curriculum, which is an evidence-based curriculum. However, we know the population we serve, so we modify to make sure that we're meeting their needs. So we cover topics such as communication, we cover healthy relationships, we cover how do we self-regulate, how we deal, how we feel, how we deal. We cover, when we talk about relationships, we talk about teen dating violence, we talk about sexual abuse as well. And really trying to give the students the tools that they need to be able to self-regulate, to be able to identify, first and foremost, to start with themselves, because if we respect ourselves or we have some self-worth, that's where it begins. But then additionally, how do we maintain these healthy relationships with those that we are constantly in communication with, whether that's our partners, whether that's other adults in our lives. So that's essentially the work that we do. And again, we're going to identify entities where we feel that there could be already, aside from the fact that they're from Lawrence, but what other traits when you go into like Lair, people going for their high set. So they're high school dropouts, they're obviously from the Lawrence community, and most of them are teen mothers. So we try to check off, and when we're there talking about, it's a 12 session, so 12 weeks that we do this curriculum, the students tend to open up, especially when we start talking about sensitive topics such as healthy relationships. So when you have students opening up, talking about they use substance use to try to cope with whatever's happening at home, that's a check mark in our mind that obviously there's more. The fact that they're disclosing, this happened in my home and now they're living it, that's a check mark in our mind, that's another high-risk factor. But do we have a set that, do we go in and ask these students, do you have X, Y, and Z? No. We intentionally identify these entities knowing that these individuals, these youth, will be considered at-risk youth. And then from our curriculum, we get more information from them because our conversation is more, the presentation is more of a discussion. It's not just talking at them, we're with them.
Thank you very much. Counselors, anyone?
Oh, and the ask.
Okay. No, that's okay.
The ask is 22,000.
I think the ask is for 22,000
Across
for
the board.
all of them, right? So that's one answer. Very good. Any counselors? No? Okay. My same questions. As part of the curriculum, part of whatever you do, is gender identity or sexuality any part of what your mission is on this?
Absolutely. Within our curriculum, we have like scenarios that we play Alex and Chris. We don't know if Alex is a female or male, but having conversations about what it is to be in same-sex relationship, we know that those who identify within the LGBTQIA+ community are at higher risk of experiencing also unhealthy relationship. So we absolutely include that within our curriculum.
There's no change between this year's program and last year's program, or are there fundamental differences in the programs?
No changes, just trying to get into other entities that have more high-risk youth.
Thank you so much. Yep. Do you have a question?
Sorry?
Counselor Rodriguez?
How many kids you serve?
So it depends. Currently, we just had to complete the Shannon Grant. I think we've served 67 or 69 so far from the year that we had to submit. I think it was last year's. So hoping, it all depends. Like in Lair currently right now, we have about 25 students. 25 students, 25 in the English group, 20 in the Spanish group. So together it's 45.
Is that it, counselors? Thank you so much. Oh, I'm Counselor Levy. My apologies.
The year? Oh, the ages? Currently right now within Lair, there's some 18, 19, some 20s above. We say our grants from 13 to 19, but obviously, once we're in there, we're not gonna do an exception for anyone if they're above the age of 21. So in there could be some that are above the age of 21. Yep. Mhm.
Is that it, counselors? Thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Ms. Shepherd, who is next?
Hi, I'm Dale Siemens of the Boys and Girls Club of Lawrence. I view the Shannon Grant as just an extension, sort of a more focused effort of what the club already does. The club is about mentorship. We're back up to almost 500 kids a day attending daily, and all of our activities, all of our programming is focused on developing relationships between adults and kids. Our programming focuses on healthy living, academic success, and character and leadership. So from there, with the Shannon Grant, we identified, well, first off, like I said, we consider all of the kids at the club as at risk, but we identify kids who we think are even at further risk. How do we do that? Again, much like the Y, it's a more organic process, but we focus on foster kids because they tend to come to the club with problems. We focus on the kids who we notice are having behavior problems, which has really ticked up since everyone's gone back to school from COVID. You know, kids are having to relearn how to behave in a place like the club or at school. Kids come to us asking for mentors. So through this program, if you're going to ask how many kids we mentor, that's actually a difficult number in some ways for me to pin. Last year for the report, I think I put 38. But here's an example. This program helps to touch a lot of kids. Mara Cruz, I believe her last name is Colon, who comes from the Lawrence Police Department. She comes every year to talk about staying out of gangs, staying away from drugs. And we have all of our basketball teams meet with her. So, that's over 100 kids right there. We have an annual summer event with the Lawrence Police Department and Fire Department where the kids play games with both departments. They engage in recreational activities with both departments. And the goal there is to sort of get kids to relate to law enforcement, to connect the community more. The mentorship, like I say, it's sort of a more focused, concerted effort of what we do to develop mentorships through our programming. But we also have some specific programs called Planning for the Future, which is funded not just by this grant, it's funded by other grants as well. And this is a program where we help kids get into both prep school and college, or if kids who are seniors in high school, if they want to get into the military or if they want to get into the trades. We just reinstituted our college fair in October since COVID with 22 colleges attending. We help kids with the college application process, with the FAFSA process. We have volunteer independent consultants, education consultants come in and guide kids through how to write a college essay. They help them with course selection in high school to help them prepare for a college curriculum and those courses that will help them to better get into college. I'm amazed at how many kids are interested in applying to private high schools too. And these are kids who are truly self-motivated to do it. And we've extended that process as well. So we're driving kids around to different prep schools, we're driving kids around to different colleges. And also, the other reason it's kind of hard to pinpoint numbers is kids drop in. They'll go see the assistant director of education and ask questions about their college essay, and they might sit down for 23 minutes and talk about their college essay. We try to log that. It's hard to log it. But there's just constant touch points with these kids. But they meet with them formally. The kids covered by this grant, they meet with them formally at least once a week. And we also encourage these kids to participate in a formal activity at least once a week. The other thing I'd like to point out, we have what is called the Keystone Club and the Torch Club. They're both volunteer clubs. Keystone is for high schoolers, and the Torch Club is for middle schoolers. And these clubs are, much like the Y, they provide an opportunity to discuss things like sexual abuse, gang involvement, unwanted pregnancy, sexuality, sexual identity. That is an important platform for kids to get into those kinds of discussions. I think that pretty much wraps it up if people have questions.
I think people do. First off, Councilor Del Rosario, then followed by Councilor Infante.
Thank you to you, Mr. President. Just a little scenario, like the Y and the Boys Club. If these kids don't drop into your club or other entity doesn't bring them to you, what do you guys do to try to get this at-risk kids like out of the projects? You have any programs that go there, knock doors? Do you guys do anything to identify those kids that actually don't just drop off at the Boys Club? That's what I would like to know.
That's a good question. I mean, we have trouble with that. You know, if you're talking about proactively going outside of the confines of the club, we have trouble with that. Pre-pandemic, we had a membership of 4,000 kids. So, you know, members really come to the club a lot. However, we are working on trying to increase our teen participation. So, for example, we have created a driver's ed program in collaboration with the Merrimack Valley Driver's Ed School, I believe. And we try to advertise that. We get teens together, and ask them what it is they want. And but it's something we have to work on more because teens are certainly an at-risk group, and we're working to keep that group.
The reason why I asked this question is because throughout the years, I see this grant coming into the same institutions. Y, WCA, Boys Club, but I don't see the Boys Club, I don't see the YMCA, like really looking for these kids. They are really at risk and any other things. They just pick the kids that are actually inside there, which is okay. But I don't see you guys actually searching for the kids that are really at risk. If they don't come to you, you won't locate these kids. It's to me, I don't see the Boys Club into the projects. I don't see the YMCA with a program in the summer into the projects. And that's why I asked this question. If those kids doesn't drop up in your clubs, how do you guys would ID them? And you being honest, say you need to be more proactive, and I thank you for that.
Well, we did have a site in one of the projects. We had to close it during COVID because of COVID-19, safety regulations. So that was one way where we got more involved. I think there are so many kids who want, it's only $40 a year, and for those families for an annual membership fee, and for those families who can't afford it, we even waive that. So the club speaks for itself in that sense. But your point is well taken, and I haven't been at the club long enough to know what the philosophy is around that. I know that we are considered a drop-in center, so we're not considered, a daycare. We're not considered, we're not a formal program in that sense. So kids are free to come and go. But the big thing is once we have them, we really, really try to work hard to keep them. And that's one of our big efforts, one of our focuses this year. And we're starting we just got a huge grant for a workforce development program that we're hoping is going to attract even more kids, teenagers specifically.
Councilor Infante.
Thank you. You mentioned that the Boys and Girls Club identifies every kid as an at-risk kid. Why is that?
Well, at risk, 65% of our kids come from single-parent homes. It's hard to, for a single parent to have all eyes on their kids. 95% qualify for the free lunch program, which means in Massachusetts that a family of 4 lives under the federal poverty level, which is $36,000+ plus. We just feel that there is the potential that's how we approach, you know, our kids, that there's always the potential. I mean, some of the stories that come out of the club are heart-wrenching. You know, someone's father is in jail, someone's mother has a drug problem. We had a young man who just went off to, I can't remember if it was BU, can't remember, but a major university, and he was helping to raise his brothers and sisters. He was on the swim team. I mean, so we just, and that's the point of mentorship, and that's why there's constant contact through our programming. There's constantly, we feel that the programming, it's more than just learning how to dance. It's more than learning how to play basketball. It's more than learning how to do robotics. It's more than learning to play the violin. It's that one-on-one discussions that we feel is the most important. And again, the Shannon Grant just takes that to the next level.
Thank you. And I have one other comment through you, Council President. You also mentioned that you are amazed by how many kids are interested in private high school. Although I know you meant that in a positive way, I just ask that you be considerate how you make comments sometimes, because some others may take that as like, what does this person mean, you know, amazed by?
Yeah, well, you know, fair enough. That's a fair comment. What I just meant, I would say that with any demographic, right? I mean, that would be, to me, for kids that young to be motivated to do something that they're not told is the next step, I think is amazing. So if I was misunderstood, I mean, honestly, I'd say that in, you know, any town, any city.
Thank you.
Councilor Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, essentially, I know that the Boys and Girls Club, you guys do an amazing job with a lot of kids. I know a lot about what you guys are doing currently. But I mean, for this specific grant, you're asking for $22,000. I know that the Boys and Girls Club, the amount of money that it takes to run the club is great over that, and this is not much. But I mean, when it comes to this specific program, it says that it is to support the comprehensive strategies to address youth violence. So if you guys are doing what you're doing for other things and other reasons, that's not necessarily fitting into the description of this grant. What I would like to see, if kids that are at risk because of youth violence, what are we doing with those specific kids for them to be eventually not going through the same situation? Not just providing any specific services that you guys provide to any general kid, for the general population perhaps. So what is it specifically that you guys are doing with kids that are at risk when it comes to violence?
I guess it comes back again to the fundamental tenet of the club. And it's about mentorship, it's about conversations, it's about one-on-one guidance. And in addition to having a spokesperson from the Lawrence Police Department come in addition to having the day in the summer where there's interaction with the Lawrence and police and fire departments, there's a constant conversation about these things. And between the Torch and the Keystone clubs, these are formal discussions. And when we have kids who we think are really in trouble, we do have we hired a social worker, and we can refer kids to that social worker who helps kids with any issues they're having personally, at home, at school. She helps families get resources, whether it's housing, whatever. But it's keeping the conversation open. It's that, and if we find someone in trouble, you have to understand, to some extent, we have limited, I don't know if the word is power, but we have limited we can't go outside of the walls and follow up. I mean, it's organic. You know, it is organic. But we do, but I don't want to underestimate the value of this mentoring. It really is really, really important.
And with all due respect, you just mentioned exactly.
I'm sorry.
With all due respect, you just mentioned exactly what is the issue in the city of Lawrence with a lot of youth that are at risk. That the follow-up and what happened, you know, up there, outside of our walls, is what's concerned.
Yeah.
And not being able to see those kids again when they don't come in and be able to get service, that's what become a problem sometimes. Going up there, doing the follow-up with the kids, with this specific program in mind, saying perhaps this kid haven't shown up for 2 days, what is happening with him or her at home or at school that this kid is not showing up, and we know exactly based on the input we get that he is or she is at risk. So what is it that we're doing to be able to keep on providing those services, bringing that kid back, because that could be a possible failure if we don't follow up.
Right.
So essentially, that's the main reason as of what I'm seeing, that some of the program, they receive the kid home or at the facilities and provide those services there. But we would like, I personally would like to see more like, you know, follow up after in case that kid is not showing up.
Right.
And in case that kid is missing something that we were not able to provide at the moment that he was here or she was here or whatever, or they were here. So essentially, what is it that we can do to ensure that we are addressing those concerns based on the comprehensive strategy that the city of Lawrence through the police department have developed? Because this grant specifically is to support those comprehensive strategies.
Right.
Not necessarily the strategy that we have in the club. The club need to adapt to the strategies that the city of Lawrence have through this grant and work based on that. That's how I'm seeing. Like, I'm seeing different strategies throughout, but I mean, are those part of the strategies that the city of Lawrence have?
I'm sorry, is what?
Are those part of the strategies that we actually have in the program developed to make sure that those kids are not at risk at some point once they receive those services? So that's basically what I'm seeing we lacking on some things.
Right, okay. I mean, it's a good question, and I haven't been at the club long enough to know what the policy is and what the capability is in terms of staffing specifically on being able to follow up with kids, like if they don't show up for 3 days. I don't know, and I can get back to you. I could, email you, an answer to that. I don't know what with 500 kids a day and, 38 last year that we specifically with this grant, we just don't really have the staffing, I don't believe, to really to follow up with every kid who isn't coming in when they normally do. Now, we do get involved with parents. We will talk to parents and say, we're noticing that, so-and-so seems to be in a dark place or isn't behaving well. We certainly suspend kids, unfortunately, not specifically from the Shannon Grant, but, we have rules. If, we're finding that vaping is a problem at the club. So if we find kids vaping in the locker room, they're suspended for a few days. So we do have those types of touch points.
So essentially, I'm not expecting you to get in touch with every member of the club.
Yeah, of
because
course.
it's not feasible.
Yeah.
But whoever is the beneficiary of this grant, we would like to see and define who are those groups. Not just to take these funds and put it on the general fund, and the general funds perhaps to serve every kid, because not every kid have the same characteristic or what this grant is addressing. So basically, the definition of the curriculum to serve those kids through this grant shouldn't be broad to every kid in the club.
And it's not, but that's, this grant is, like I said at the beginning, is an extension, it's a concerted, focused effort of the general philosophy of the club. But we add on certain activities that, not the rest of the club does. So if you're one of these kids who's been identified, if you're a foster kid, if there have been some behavior problems, if a kid comes to us and asks for it, then we pair them up. And so we will have kids in part of these activities who might not be, who are well beyond this funding. So it's not like we look at the 22,000 as, okay, we can only support X amount of kids on this 22,000.
Much, Council President.
You're welcome. Anyone else? I know you've answered it, but I'm asking everybody if you've figured that out yet. So is this program any different this upcoming year as opposed to last year, or is it fundamentally the same program that you're offering?
It's fundamentally the same program.
And are components of this deals with either gender identity or sexuality?
Do we have a specific formal component around those topics? No, but again, during the club meetings, during these volunteer club meetings, the kids discuss that kind of thing, along with gang prevention and, unwanted pregnancy and drug involvement and that kind of thing. So that's what these clubs, in addition to giving back to the community, because they are volunteer clubs, it also provides an opportunity for that type of conversation. And sometimes we invite speakers in to talk about specific things.
Thank you very much. If no one else, thank you so much. We appreciate your time. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming. Miss Shepherd.
Erika Hernandez from Apple Lawrence.
Hello to you all, and thank you for having us. I want to first say thank you to the Shannon Grant for being an extension to our pre-existing work. ACT Lawrence 2023 Youth and Leadership Program will provide programming to the poorest neighborhoods of Lawrence with affordable summer programs and fall. This program runs in 2 sessions. One session is in the summer, another one in the fall. The program will engage up to 18 students, and with that being said, or youth, and we'll be training them in a number of life-changing experiences. Group ages range between 14 and 22, and these youth will be participating in leadership programs and job components. This group will work approximately 15 hours during the summer. We're calling it work, right? Because they do gain life skill tools that allow them to then, align that with actual work experience. And then and that would be like 6 weeks during the summer and 4 during the fall. The program session may be adjusted as needed to address whatever restrictions we may have, since we are still in the midst of what some of us identify as the pandemic. The program session will be adjusted as needed to address the pandemic restrictions. The participants are allowed to open bank accounts, begin saving money towards their education, and most importantly, this enables them to participate or practice their newly acquired money management and budgeting skills into any of their futuristic goals. The youth will benefit from soft skills workshop ACT Lawrence provides, including resume writing, interview skills, email and telephone etiquette, community organizing, outreach, and most importantly, financial literacy.
Thank you so much. Before I ask counselors, just so we have it for the record, the name of the organization again and
It's
your name.
ACT Lawrence, and as of January 1st, I'm the executive director.
And just because not everybody knows who you are, your name again?
Erica Hernandez.
Thank you. Anybody else counselors who wish to ask questions? Seeing none, thank you so much, Ms. Hernandez, we appreciate it.
All right.
I'm sorry, my question.
There you go.
So, I'm sorry. This program is the same this year, will be the same as it was last year? Is there any difference between the last year's and this year's program?
Fundamentally is the same, but things that we have added to increase turnaround responses from the youth that we've served in the past is that we are starting an alumni network. We have hired a full-time program coordinator to not just service the youth, but service the parents around giving them skills through the financial literacy programs that we have, also our first-time homebuyer classes, foreclosure prevention, rental assistance, etc. Anything the family may need to stabilize the youth that we are serving. We also started those who do participate in the alumni network will have service learning opportunity provided post the cohort, and they will also have the ability to participate in a scholarship that we are starting this year, 2023. So this scholarship throughout 10 years potentially could help up to 20 of our youth, and that is something that we have worked towards building to make this program even more, fruitful for the youth of Lawrence.
Thank you. And the last question is, through this program that you're administrating with these monies, is there any component of it that deals with sexuality or gender identity?
So as someone that has certified herself in DEI training, we are just encouraging that we promote a safe environment for anyone who may, we're trying to advocate for a safe environment that is inclusive of all genders, of our youth and staff. So that is something that we are promoting just through inclusivity.
Thank you. Rodriguez?
Thank you, Erica. Thank you, Ms. Erica, for being here. Essentially, I would like to know, you mentioned that during the summer you have summer jobs. So do you pay the students or the kids that are?
So all of our participants do get a stipend. Depending on which cohort they're participating, the stipend's a little bigger. We hire within the pipeline, so we tend to have youth leaders that get paid at minimum wage or a little bit above, depending on their skills. So we hire within the cohort, and we also do give the participating youth a stipend so they can learn work etiquettes, other job readiness skills, financial literacy, so they get paid to learn. So that's part of what we do.
So essentially, part of the money is going.
It goes back to the youth.
to the store.
We do, we do bill it in accordance to the needs of the agency, but and essentially, it goes back to the youth because this is just a component of other funding that we've had throughout many years of services here in Lawrence for this particular demographics. Thank you.
Ms. Shepherd?
Rabia Rosario from Change the Play.
Yes. Yep. My name is Rafael Rosario, also known as DJ Las, Executive Director of Change the Play. And we focus on youth development. We empower the youth through our fashion and music entrepreneurship program. It's called Monetizing the Contagious Idea, where we bring the kids' ideas to life through fashion and music. We show them how to monetize that by bringing the ideas out. How do we show them how to make it contagious? We use social media to bring awareness, promote their items, and how we show them how to monetize it is by using social media to create e-commerce, sort of like Amazon, and create on-demand sales. So our students typically create clothes and music, and they go from the whole process from A to Z, from brainstorming, design review, production, social media campaign, and they also do a product placement at Eblin's. So these kids go shopping at Eblin's to buy Jordans, Nikes, and they make sweaters and t-shirts that eventually get sold there. So it's a big deal, you know, it gives them hope. We also do in-class, I'm also a professional DJ, so we do music production with the students. We bring them on field trips to the radio stations. We also do stuff in studios, and we show them the professional side of the industry, not only being on stage or being a rapper. So we encourage them to be entrepreneurs, and we use the internet as one of the tools to promote it. We do in-session classes. We also do workshops, like I said, led by professionals like myself. And we get them engaged. They learn soft skills, real life skills, leadership skills. They also get, sorry, get my notes. So yeah, they learn a lot of different soft skills and real life skills as well. We focus with a lot of different other nonprofits, as well as the Lawrence School Publics, to target our kids.
Great. Any questions by counselors?
Sure.
Counselor Rodriguez.
Well, do you guys have a physical location?
We don't have a physical location. We're a smaller program, so we go to the problem. We go to schools that are at risk. We also work with other entities like DYS, UTEC, that focus with those kind of students.
And where do you guys actually do music?
We go to classrooms. We go to Phoenix Academy. We bring all the equipment. We set it up, plug and play, and we turn the classroom into a studio or into a graphic designing place. Yeah, so we bring all of our stuff and we set up shop.
And the last thing you said, it was that you identify the kids through non-for-profit organizations and also through
How do we identify them? I mean, we sit down case by case. It's different schools, different programs, and we alter it based on the students, you know, but typically where we go, these kids are at risk, from UTEC to DYS to Phoenix Academy, Rise Academy. They're kids that were at Lawrence High and eventually got moved to a different program because they can't be with the regular kids due to their behavior.
And so essentially you guys identify kids through DYS. I mean, that's essentially...
Well, no, case by case, we sit with the principal. They tell us which kids are, you know, and that's how we target them. We sit down and we go with the students. What qualifies? Is it the grades, the attendance? Is it their address? Is their situation at home living? We factor all that in.
Do you guys follow up with those kids when they don't show up, perhaps?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, how we rate our success is based on behavior, grades, attendance. So if we see lack of attendance, we have to follow up.
Call them, you go home.
Yeah, we connect. We connect with the facility. And why is the student not here? We also have connection with the students as well. But some places we don't have connection with the students. The actual facility does. So it depends if we're running a program or if we're just being, they brought us in to do a program. So it depends.
Gotcha. Thank you so much.
Any other Counselor Infante?
Thank you. I don't have a question, but I do have a comment for my peers and those watching at home and people in the gallery. I want to thank you for what you do. I don't think I've never met you, but I know of you through your DJ work. And I mean, you're a DJ for Hot 96 Boston. Yep. You have over 10,000 followers on Instagram. And you are here. You are a big name, and you are here helping our kids, and that's big. And I don't think people who don't know, you know, the nightlife or haven't been part of that don't really know how major it is to have you do or be a part of an organization like this. I just want to say thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you for the great words. I appreciate it. Yeah, so I mean, our goal is to use professionals to connect with these kids. You know, we don't bring a boom box. We're professionals. We also teach content creation, like she says. I got 88,000 followers on TikTok. One of my instructors has 500,000 followers. So we teach these kids how to monetize what we're doing. And the formula that's working for us, we just trying to put it onto the youth.
Any other questions? So the same question everybody else that I've been asking. Is this your first time getting this money, or did you get it last year?
We're about, this might be our 4th year now.
Okay, so this year, and this past year, the upcoming year, any differences in your programming?
Not really. I mean, the only changes we made were last year, that we implemented some stuff, but not this year.
And in your programming, is there any sexual identity or any kind of sexuality or gender identity involved in your program?
No, we accept all genders, but that's not part of our curriculum.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Very quick.
Councilor Rodriguez.
How many kids you serve, actually?
Yearly or per program?
I mean, with the money.
So per program, anywhere from like 10 to 20 kids. Yearly, anywhere 40 to 60 kids.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
And we have Dan Howell, who is from the Lawrence County Development.
Former City Councilor Halloran, welcome back to the chambers.
I actually looked at that photo. I was much skinnier back then. I think it was 1989.
But Councilor, probably wiser these days.
Yes, a little wiser.
For anybody who doesn't know you, could you just identify yourself one more time? And your
Dan
organization?
Halloran, I'm from the Sisu Center, 517 Canal Street. We're a little bit of a hidden secret around here. I sat on the board for 4 years, but coming to this meeting was quite an experience. I'm an old boys club kid, grew up there, coached there for 21 years, 7th grade, still mentoring kids. So when you ask what the relationship is with those folks, I just went to Florida, 2 of my kids. One was very successful, one failed, but they're still doing better. And you mentor, when you mentor a kid at the club, you mentor them for life. It's just the way it is. But let's talk about the Sisu Center. Hidden secret, we do deal with the most at-risk kids in the city. We have the SSYI grant through the police department. Those folks are identified by the police department, but we are still looking. Those guys are gang involved, gun charges, usually a high school dropout, usually a criminal record, 16 to 24. We have outreach workers chasing them down, and then we have case managers. We do counseling. I implore all of you to come visit us because I think Councilor Infante came visit us. We're a little surprised at what we've done with the building, the old Lawrence Clayton Bragg. Last couple months, we put a half-court basketball court. We've put a gym. We have a construction shop. We have a silk screening shop. We have a studio, so I'm gonna find him soon because we have an underutilized studio there for music. Because a lot of our kids want to be rappers, but we're teaching them how to write music properly, how to produce it, and we just involved embroidery too. So we just opened up a embroidery shop, teaching shop. So we average, I'd say about 30 to 35 kids a day. But just to be specific with this program is. We get a list from the Lawrence Police Department, from Marco Ayala. Our outreach workers chase those kids. Those kids are the ones who are super involved with some bad stuff in the community. But then we get that next group that we can't find the funding for, that are just on the edge of being in trouble, might have quit school, might be at one of the other schools like Rise Academy. Those are the kids that this particular grant is helping. And this helps with a percentage of one of our case managers and some of the rent. Rent is not cheap, so it really helps. But our staff has turned over. COVID kind of killed us for a couple years, but the staff came back stronger. And if you look at our staff, I go back to my boys club kids. Some of these guys have had some tough goes when they were younger and really are success stories. So that older 35 to 40-year-old guy is mentoring these kids and trying to keep them out of trouble. But we don't always win. We'll be honest with you, but we try, and we don't give up on a young adult. We deal with them pretty much from 16 to 25 when they age out. Questions?
Councilors? Councilor Del Rosario, and then Councilor De La Cruz.
Through you, Council President, what I have is a comment. I haven't been to your facility, but to me, without disrespecting any of the other organization, you are doing their risk job. Yes. You guys are doing that job. Because you guys are reaching out. You guys are on the streets finding these people. Yeah. And that's what the grant is at risk. And I met some of you guys, and I've been to to the parks where they work, and I see those guys actually walking on the street, out into the neighborhood, trying to find those gang members or those kids that are related with the gang members, and I see them working outside. So I would like to thank you and you guys for all the work that you guys are doing. And
Absolutely.
Keep up the good job. Another thing that I want to add is, also you are one of the smallest, besides the DJ, you guys one of the smallest institutes here looking for this help. And I think that the police department and everybody that create this grant should look at those small institutions that actually do their risk job and try to bring them in. I think that it's time to let go of those big, huge grant hunters, that's how I call them, that don't do their risk job. So thank you for what you do.
Thank you, Councilor. But, and I'm just, we do a great job, but a lot of our kids are the kids who've slipped through the cracks. So it works, but we do want to, and since I'm on local TV, we want to reach out to every other nonprofit. If you have an at-risk kid, if you're in a school department and have a kid who's in trouble, that's the kid we want. The Boys Club, I was that guy helping kids in the prep schools, and my kids were Boys Club kids, and they great program, and they do great with the other. They always get credit for those kids at prep schools, but they do a really good job with those at-risk kids, because I've dealt with them, and I look at a newly elected second-term sheriff up in New Hampshire, Mark Brave. A lot of you guys don't know, he was a very troubled kid at the Boys Club. Got a job driving a transport for jail up there, and now he's the sheriff. He's a Lawrence kid, and honestly, if you asked me 20 years ago, I thought he'd be on the other side of the bars, not a guy running a prison. So there are success stories. But remember, mentoring is not just when they're up to 18. It's kind of for life. So like I said, we've mentored a lot of kids.
Councilor De La Cruz and Representative Reyes.
Mr. Holloran, nice to see you one more time.
Oh, nice to see you.
I wanted to say thank you, because at one point, a lot of the beautiful stories are not being told in the city. But I was one of your teachers for adult education on Saturday morning.
Okay.
And your house was open for those people, and they did become citizens of the United States.
That's perfect.
Then, thank you for having that open mind for our kids.
Yeah.
I know your daughter went and graduated and all of that, and you're still thinking about our kids that are mostly from single family.
Yeah.
And thank you for loving us.
Oh, no, it's my pleasure, and that was in my role at the Y, so you have to give the shout out to the Y for letting me open the doors, so. Great, thank you.
Thanks, Councilor. Representative Reyes.
Thank you, Councilor President. Mr. Holler, what would be the plan for those kids that are in the edge of being in trouble? You have any second plan, anything that you might can get connected with?
We have they're all assigned to a case manager. We're actually looking for 2 more case managers as we grow. We're growing so much that I think Methuen wants us to do some work over there. But I'm specifically a Lawrence guy, so I would rather keep it here. But we are looking for help, any kind of visit, any kind of advice, talking to our kids. We average about 30 to 40 kids in the program daily. We are part of Youth Build too, so we're gonna break ground on a house. And you see how quick these single-family houses go up. We're not gonna be that quick, because we're teaching while we're doing it. So it's a 2-year process to build a house. But any kind of assistance, I'd love you to visit and take a tour of the place, talk to the kids. Again, our kids are not going to be successful right away. I was on the board for 4 years, came in interim, thought I was going to relax the rest of my life in community college life, but this kind of called me. But any assistance, any kind of advice, mentoring is big with our youth. Again, but mentoring that at-risk kid, I mean, our guys go into Middleton before they get out pre-release. Those are the kids we're looking at. So we're not looking at angels. So, if you think you're going to save every kid, you're probably not. But I always say if I can save half of them, I'm going to be okay.
That is a good number, but the fact that you taking and put everything at stake to take them out of trouble or out of the street, that is the real value of it.
Yes.
So I think you are going in the right direction. Nothing happens overnight. Everything takes time. And the fact that you sound how you are putting into your heart, that is what is really going to make the difference.
Well, I appreciate it, thank you.
Councilor Infante?
Thank you.
My counselor?
Quick comment. I want to say thank you again for the tour that you gave me.
My pleasure.
I was completely surprised. I was blown away. I think the entire time my mouth was open, my eyes are wide. I think it's great. I think the DJ just left, but if you can do that partnership, that you have an amazing facility and the space is there, and I do think this organization deserves more of a spotlight, and thank you for what you do.
Well, I appreciate it. One more thing, on Wednesdays, we actually have barbers coming in there for, our kids get a barber, get a haircut on a Wednesday if they need one. So we've got a full barber shop in there. It's a funny, quick story, but the basketball court I found on Facebook Marketplace up in Maine. So my first week up there, we drove a truck to pick up a basketball court. And our kids who had to do community service built the court. It's a small little thing, but it's better than playing on concrete.
Sure. Thank you. My question, any other questions? Any differences between this year's program and next year's program?
No.
Are there any elements of either sexuality or gender identity in your program?
No, we're pretty much open to everybody, so it's, yeah.
Great, thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, Counselor. Appreciate it.
It's good seeing you. Thank you.
Ms. Shepherd, is there anyone else? Okay.
But I want to take the time to say thank you to each and every member. Oh, sorry. Okay, hi. To each and every member that came to speak and explain a little bit about your program. I am pretty sure that they are more aware of what it is that you guys actually do. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it.
Chief, welcome.
Thank you, councilors. Good evening. Just real quick, I wanted to just summarize. Obviously, the Shannon Grant has been very successful for us for a number of years. It's important to note that the activities being provided under the grant fall in a couple of different categories: leadership-based, educational, recreational, employment-related, and general skills life activities. It's important to note that the grant itself and the partners themselves and their descriptions have been approved by the state already, and the money has been allocated for each individual person already as well. I do think it's important to note that to some of your points, some of these partners have been here for quite a bit of time. There's been some rhetoric, both here and individually. I've had some conversations with you all regarding maybe reviewing some of those partners in the future, and I would say that we're going to do that actively after this period is over, prior to committing to these organizations. Again, we're going to review each and every one, and I think it's important to get your feedback on some of them. You've made some very poignant points here, and that we're going to go back and discuss with all these partners for this year exactly some of those issues that you raised here tonight. So I just think it's important to let you know that we're going to review this. Also, a secondary part of this grant is ours, the Lawrence Police Department, about $90,000 that we use, that you all know has been very successful, is that the open gyms that we want to continue to provide. We've had, again, Councilor Rodriguez, you've been vocal in trying to bring down the age level, but I think we'll have to take a look at that under the parameters of the grant, but that's certainly not something that we're overlooking. And the other part of that is the actual gang enforcement, where the officers are going out doing extra patrols in the hotspot areas to try to make sure that we're engaging these individuals before they get into trouble. I understand that, again, this is part of the, yeah, I know, and again, that's why I knew this was going to come up, that we wanted to take a look at potential other candidates, other organizations to receive the funding. I would just say that this application, correct me, Madam Clerk, has already been sent into the state. The organization's been approved, but To your point, we do have to take a look at some of other organizations that are out there. Obviously, we're very familiar with Sueños Basketball. I don't think there's any other organization besides us that works with them. It seems almost daily. We pretty much work in concert with them for all their different programs that they run. And my hat goes off to them. They do a fabulous job. These would be one of the organizations that we would look to partner with in not only this grant, but others as well.
Councilor Rodriguez?
Yes. Through you, Mr. President. Essentially, I know that this grant is very focused on what you guys are doing. The strategy that the police department have developed are clear, you just stated, and this grant is specifically for 12 to 18 years old, which is not part of that, what I just passed to you. What we're looking for is to probably expand what the open gym might be through ages anywhere between 8 to 13, 8 to 12, so we can have more kids being proactively approached before they get into be part of these grants. Essentially, what I would like to see is less kids on these type of grants, because we actually did the work ahead of time, and that's exactly what you have there with the expansion of the open gym. I know that through this grant, you won't be able to do it because of the age limitation, but that's exactly what I would like to see, how we can actually look into other source of funds. Perhaps the city of Lawrence, I remember 4 or 5 years ago, that we actually expand the open gym to another location with local funds.
Right.
And essentially having now the opportunity to expand the age it could be done through local funds.
Correct.
It's a matter of just understanding the need of having the possible collaboration with the police department through the current open gym, and focusing on actually work proactively on the current situation we're facing, which is basically kids are exposed to possible violence before they become 12, and they get service through this grant. And that's basically what we would like to see. Kids that are not necessarily being served, that could be served through another source of funds, because we know that we're limited on this specific grant because of the age limitation.
Correct.
Essentially, what you just get, just for the record, it's a proposal for kids that are anywhere between, I believe, 8 to 12. And through you, Mr. President, once the shift is done, for the purpose of transparency, I would like to provide the opportunity to the current organization to actually explain to us what is on that specific folder that each one of you get. So at the end, if you allow me the opportunity to actually talk to them, so they can explain these specific thing that you get.
So to your point, real quick, I would just say, you're 100% right. The younger, the better that we can get involved with kids. To your point, hopefully we don't have to use the secondary grant at that age level. So we would love to engage with kids younger and younger, and hopefully we can find a funding source. We are actively looking for another grant to get that lower age level, and certainly we're going to try to have a conversation with the administration to see if they would fund some opportunities for more open gyms specifically designed to those age groups. And again, no one is more of an advocate for Sueños Basketball and what they do. I'm obviously very familiar. My 5 years as the chief, I think from day one we've done that all year round, it seems like, with them. So fabulous organization. We'd love to be able to partner with them in the city to provide those services. Thank you.
So just so I'm clear, Mr. Vice Chair, you gave the motion to approve?
I did.
You did earlier?
I have the
You did.
motion.
So a motion has been made, it's been properly second. Further discussion, I see Councilor De La Cruz.
Chief, I would like to say that I have seen kids participating in the open gym, and how beneficial has that been for the community and for kids themselves? Because working with Salvation Army and that program, Open Gym, it is incredible to see kids coming back to do their homework, being in school every day because they want to participate in the Open Gym. Then thank you one more time for mixing young people with police and all of that. And, you know, they have a role model right there to see a person that they will see again in the community. Then that's a beautiful connection where we know that we are not losing those kids forever. And you see them in the supermarket and they know you and they call you by your name because they know that beautiful relationship. And I understand those points that we need to have more of these kind of programs. Sueño Basketball started suffering so much because they don't have a place to play. I remember those days. Being in the city, trying to do the best of the best, and the city not providing a place for them to play. Then I'm so happy that you're gonna be working with them, and they're not gonna be homeless anymore. I know that Father Almono has provided a place for them, but they need more space because there are a lot of kids.
So you're 100% correct, Council. So we know twofold on the open gyms. One, we give the kids a safe environment where they could come and do something off the street. And we know when these kids have more activities that they can get involved in, they're less likely to hang around and get involved in things that we don't want them to do. Secondarily is exactly what you talked about, that relationship with the police department, police officers, seeing them in a different light, and obviously building relations with the community at the lower level. So when these kids grow up and become adults, we've already fostered that relationship. Correct. Thank you.
We're all set. So I know that Councilor Rodriguez, before I get there, Councilor Levy.
The microphone is on right now, okay? But I got a question. It's not a question, it's a request. It is possible that we, the council, can get a description of everything that they're gonna do, or every agency submit a description of the project that they already have.
Sure.
So I know that we hear practically what they are thinking to do, but I much better if we have a copy of information in writing of the project.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
We all set? All right, so I know that, thank you. So I know that this item that's before us is to authorize the expenditures of the Shannon Grant to the I believe there are 7 programs that we've already, that we've heard from this evening. Councilor Rodriguez would like to ask someone who is not part of this package to be a part of it. It's a bit of a stretch. If there's no objections, I'm going to allow this to go forward very briefly because we've been here for a while already. We have other folks who have other important issues. So Councilor Rodriguez, who is it that you wish to call up this evening?
Thank you, Council.
Thank you. Sueños.
So welcome, and Councilor Rodriguez has a question too, but we're trying to keep this real brief, so Councilor, you get the floor, sir.
Yeah, I cordially ask you for a couple of minutes, and thank you so much for giving me. I know that this is not part of this package, but the fact that we mentioned Open Gym, I took this opportunity because we need to identify how we can serve the kids, and every time that we have that, I try to take advantage of that opportunity. So the fact that we mentioned Open Gym here, I know that the package that you have provided, I was fresh enough to ask you to bring something to the table so we can have a designer program that we might be able to expand what we all love, which is the Open Gym.
Yes.
And be able to provide services to kids that are not necessarily being beneficiary of this specific grant, which is ages of 12 to 18. With the package that you provide, the age limitations are within the spectrum of age that could be considered at at risk or somebody that live with them that are at risk.
Yes.
The most likely those kids are going to be exposed to violence, not necessarily at the age that the grant might benefit kids. So please take a few minutes to explain what is on this package and how you'll be able to provide services to kids in a proactive way before they get to that age that might be completely at risk.
Definitely. You know, we've been doing Sueños basketball since 2015. So we know a lot of the kids in the community, you know, a lot of them have come through Sueños, are part of Sueños, or have been part of Sueños. So I think this is really good idea that, because I always believe that we need to start being preventive. You know, we cannot start taking care of things once they're done. So what we are proposing is doing an open gym for the kids, not only playing basketball, but also, you know, connecting them with other resources. Like during the summer, we have partnership with the police, and they come and they do different things with the kids, like cyberbullying, and different things that they can provide to the kids so they can be safe, so they can have a good relationship with the police. And also we bring guest speakers to talk to them about different topics that can help them. We also try to engage the parents, so I think as a part of the open gym, it's important too that we ask the parents to come in at least, you know, for a meeting, for a workshop, not a meeting, every other month, you know, as a part of the kids to be part of, in the open gym, because I think we need to reach out to the family too, to have a healthy family, not only the kids.
Yeah, one of the things about Sueños that is very special is that, yes, we are teaching the skills of basketball, but in reality, we are teaching life skills to our kids, you know. We use basketball as a way to engage them because we know a lot of children love basketball, but we provide a lot of character development opportunities. We do workshops around financial literacy. Right after COVID, we realized, you know, how many of our kids in the city of Lawrence were traumatized by not only COVID and also the gas crisis. So we created a trauma-informed curriculum that we have worked with Stacy from the Dream Network to be able to offer workshops to our younger kids around, you know, how to heal, you know, healing practices. We're introducing meditation. We know that kids, you know, in many places, they're using meditation as a way for kids to learn how to regulate their emotions and all of that. So those are some of the components that we do as Sueños. And like my sister said, we also do a lot of parent workshops. We bring speakers, not only from around here, but even from the Dominican Republic, to talk to parents about how to talk to their kids, developing good communication skills. So Sueños is really a family, and we go above and beyond to help our kids. And I think, like my sister said, it's really important to start young. We serve them from age 7 all the way through 18. And the other unique thing about Sueños is that we use our older kids to be mentors and role models for the younger kids. And that is a great thing for them, because these are kids that started with us back in 2015 and 16, stay with us, and now they're running the program, they're helping us run it, they're developing leadership skills, they're going on to college, and they're really good, positive role models for the kids. And our plan is, if we do the open gym, is be able to use those young, you know, role models that work with us to help us facilitate the open gym skills and drills.
So thank you very much. Before we take off, just for our record, just your names and just so that we can have this for the record.
Jacqueline Marte. And Jocelyn Marte.
And thank you so much for giving us a little bit of insight into the program that you're advocating. And thank you, Counselor. We do appreciate that. At this point, there's no further discussion. I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 Council President LaPlante.
No. Motion carries. The next item, Council Del Rosario, did you wish to take off the table or out of order? Now's the time to do that.
I would like to take item 429 out of order, please.
Motion to take 429 out of order.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded by the Vice President / Representative. Discussion, hearing none. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. I believe this is a committee report that came out of the budget. And came out of came out of the Budget and Finance Committee. Vice Chair Rodriguez, you have prepared to give the report on this, please?
The Budget and Finance Committee met, discussed item 42922, send this out pending the current schedule slash schedule of expenditures and stuff. And I would like to present this item as a committee report. I make that as a form of a motion.
Second.
Motion by the Vice Chair as a committee report, seconded by the representative. Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor say yes. Councilor Dela Cruz, discussion on the committee report. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
No, the ayes have it. Council, I just also want to remind everyone that at your desk here this evening, you also received document 42922. So if you haven't found it, it should be at your chair here.
The one with the blue mark.
So clerk, what was your point there?
There's several versions. The one with the blue marker is the one we received today. It's the most updated version.
Blue version, blue marker, updated version. Got it. Okay, now that we committed a committee report, is there another motion?
I would like to present a motion to approve the transfer of $5 million to the Lawrence Public Work for this purpose that are on this list.
The motion has been made by the Vice Chair, seconded by Councilor Dela Rosario. Discussion. Councilor Dela Cruz.
Yes, I just have one question. Mr. Jaime, most of this work is going to be done on the north side of Lawrence. They're going to begin in the north side, or they are going to begin, because I see in the south so beautiful. Then I think it's about time for us.
Jorge Jaime, DPW Director, 200 Common Street. So we're gonna work citywide. Okay, we're not gonna, but definitely the north side of the city, needs a lot of attention, and you know me, and I'm gonna be out there making sure that we do a balance in between both sides.
I have a recommendation. When you do a sidewalk that you do around, it's more beneficial for the city and for the construction of the street. When they do one side and then they move to 3 blocks down, it damages the work that was done before. And I have seen it on Prospect, and that's my recommendation. If you're gonna do one sidewalk, do the whole circle. And that way, any consequence after that, you will be able to fix it. For example, I never had water in my house, and after they fix the street, water is coming into my house in the winter time. Then those are the kind of things that happen when one side is done and the other one is not.
So I agree with you, definitely. We need to approach the sidewalks, that way. And I think we just should not jump around. We should just go and do a sidewalk if we had a source or so. But we're asking for some tonight.
I see, just a reminder, south side was affected by Columbia Gas. Councilor Levy, you have the floor. Councilor Rodriguez. I didn't see you, Councilor. I saw Councilor Levy first, but I'll get you afterwards. Councilor Levy?
Thank you, Council President, through you. I have a question. I don't know if there is a mistake in here. So the Department of Public Works requests $5 million for the upcoming summer of 2024.
So I think that's an old document, so we updated that document, so I don't know if you have this one. So the 5 millions are gonna be in the capital improvements account so that we can be able to, whatever we do not use this year, we can use it next year.
That is on the letter. It's not on the memorandum, but in the letter that it was sent to us, just to, or coming someday, that's just what I think, or that's, that was a mistake. That we're
Yes.
gonna start this year, and if anything, it's gonna be for next year.
Absolutely.
And I hope, like, Councilor De La Cruz said, that we gonna start here in the north this time. Thank you.
Councilor Rodriguez.
Yeah. Essentially, I would like to update my motion first to this money to be transferred to the capital improvement, as you mentioned.
Yes. So the motion. What is the new motion?
Motion to approve the $5 million transfer to the DPW, specifically on the capital improvement account.
Yeah.
So the motion is to send it to from free cash to the DPW capital improvement account. Now it's been amended to reflect that, so we're good to go. Everybody's aware of the amendment that was just, that amendment, you just amended it on motion. Got it. Anybody else wish to speak on this matter? Councilor Rodriguez.
Essentially, just for the record, you mentioned during the Budget and Finance Committee that the needs of the DPW departments are way more than $5 million. And you actually throw a number that maybe $20 million will bring the city to what you believe is the standard to have a good amount of work that is needed.
Yeah, so definitely, the studies that we did, so just in sidewalks, we think, or we have the numbers that we need $25 million just to do the sidewalks in the north side. We cannot do that like in 1 year or 2 years, so that's why we're doing studies like little by little, and this is the plan that we have for this coming year. But definitely, the mayor wanted to match the amount of money that we're receiving, from Chapter 90. So to be able to do more streets, or to double the amount of the streets that we are able to do every year. So that includes the sidewalks that we are able to do every year too. So definitely, so $20 million is not even enough, but we are giving you, we're asking for a number right now, for an amount of money just to start and show up what we can do. And then after that, so I will know that you're gonna have the confidence to put some more money in our accounts to, continue improving with the city of Lawrence.
Right. My next question will be around the capital improvement program that we have in the city of Lawrence. Are you guys planning, this year, we do not have a capital improvement which consists of the city of Lawrence borrowing money to do the same type of work that we've been proposing to actually do with free cash. In the future years, are you planning on going back to do capital improvement programs with the possibility of borrowing money?
So absolutely, so we are in the conversation with the CAFO, and soon we're gonna present a plan for the next few years, I'm sure.
Another thing that I would like for the record is that the $5 million that we have, that we are in the process of approving today, will be specifically for city park improvement, city building improvement, city garage and parking lots, new equipment and a street park and building facility. With that, you allocate, or you propose to have $2.3 million allocation for citywide street paving, sidewalks improvements, and pedestrian crosswalks improvement. You're asking to allocate $2 million. For street signs in conversion of one-way to two-ways and two-ways to one-way vice versa, you have $150,000 budget. In illumination city parks, beautification of entries of the city, you have $550,000 proposal.
That is
For
correct.
the total of $5 million.
That is correct, yes.
I will say, good luck doing all the work that this $5 million is gonna bring us, and thank you for doing the work that you're doing at the DPW. I believe DPW is one of the most important departments in the city of Lawrence, because when it comes to public safety, that's also been defined with a great amount of work in regard to public safety. So I have the DPW at the same level as any other department that deal with public safety. So thank you for actually identifying the needs of the city and bringing forward the needs to actually spend some money from the free cash we currently have.
Thank you, Councilor.
Thank you. Quick comment. Being from the south side, thank you for everything that DPW does, but also I agree with my colleagues. I also believe that the north side needs some work, it needs some love. So I 100% am with my colleagues on that, and I'm looking forward to see what you guys bring with this project. And I always take the opportunity when I see you, when you guys come to the city council, to say thank you to you and the department. The work that you guys do is incredible, and I don't know how you guys handle it all, but I definitely appreciate what you guys do. So thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Any other comments? Seeing none, just two things. My vote that tonight has nothing to do with north versus south. Frankly, it really doesn't.
He already committed that he's going to start at north.
It really doesn't. So there's that. But I will tell you that I'm a little disappointed in what we received this evening. This is why my vote's would be voting on this evening. I expect a little bit more than what we got. There's no different than what we got in the original thing. So with that, I'll call the question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
No. Roll call vote, please.
Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Councilor Dela Cruz?
Yes.
Councilor Payano, noted as absent. Councilor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes?
Yes.
Councilor Infante?
Yes.
Council Vice President Reyes?
Yes.
Council President LaPlante?
No. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Yes.
Council Vice President.
Document 42822, old business. Can we take document 42822? Old business.
Take motion 4/2022 off the table matters. I am recognizing Councilor Del Rosario. For what purpose do you rise, Councilor Del Rosario?
Excusing for this vote.
Oh, okay. Which one? Councilor Del Rosario, you might as well, you're recusing yourself because of an apparent conflict of interest? Is that what you're doing this evening?
Correct, Council President.
Very good. I as well will be recusing myself for a conflict of interest on this matter, 428. At this point, I'm going to pass over the gavel to the Vice Chair so she can take this document.
Do you, Vice President? I recuse myself too.
You need to recluse yourself too? Yeah, we're good. Document 42822 is the art to expend grant funds recycling dividing programs RDP grant 56,000. It has been put in the agenda by Recycle Coordinator Rosana Del Rosario. And? Okay. Okay,
You're gonna need 6 votes to suspend the rules, so somebody needs to come back.
so someone needs to come back because we need to suspend the rule. Okay? Yeah, okay. So Councilor Reyes is coming back, so I'm looking for a motion to suspend the rule 2011? This is rule 20.
11, right?
It's 11.
20 and then 11.
It's 20 was 11 that we need to suspend, to add the item on the agenda, to pull from the committee.
To pull it from committee.
I don't remember who's gonna, I think
So we need to make sure which one we're gonna be suspend.
You have the rules?
Yeah, please. We just want to be on the safe side. Well, we have the city attorney, we should have asked.
No.
But are we suspending a rule to do that, or just?
I think we should do it.
That's what I thought it was, that we don't need to suspend the rule. So let me just clarify that we don't need to suspend the rules. We just need to make a motion to take and take it out of the committee. So the motion is to take document 42822 out of committee.
I make that motion.
Motion has been made, properly second by Councilor Selena Reyes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. We're just going to do a roll call. Councilor Infante.
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Councilor Giovanni Rodriguez.
Yes.
Councilor Ana Levy. Yes. Councilor Maria de la Cruz.
Yes.
And Vice Chair is voting affirmative.
So now that we have it in committee, I can provide the
Yes.
report.
Councilor Rodriguez,
Thank
floor
you,
is
Madam-
yours.
Madam Chair. Item 42822, which is that, the authorization to spend grant of the recycling division program of $56,000. We didn't have the opportunity to discuss the item, so please take the opportunity to explain how we're gonna be doing this.
Good evening, all. Thank you for having me here. Rosana del Rosario, Recycling Coordinator, 200 Common Street, Lawrence. I'm very excited about this night and this moment because since 2014, that the City of Lawrence has been applying for the RDP or Recycling Dividend Program grant. This is the first time that we're being awarded 14 points and a total of $56,000. I took position as the recycling coordinator in the city last year on January 24th. And since then, I've been trying to work very hard, first of all, on being educated myself on how it is so important for us to know the importance of recycling. Unfortunately, I came to the knowledge that we don't have the tools that the city needs to go out there and have each constituent recycle the way we want them to do it. And that's why we're taking this grant along with the application of another grant to provide 96-gallon recycling carts to each resident in the city of Lawrence. Last year, we bought around 418 20-gallon containers, and we distributed those into the constituents that didn't have any, some of the schools, and we definitely came to the knowledge that we need to do a lot more than that. So also this grant is gonna be used to keep on paying for the hazardous waste collection days, which start from May to October. We do that 2 Saturdays a month from 8 a.m. to noon. We also have our mattresses recycling program. We were able to get another $10,000 grant as well to buy a recycling container that we have at the city yard. And we are partnered with UTEC that are providing the service of the recycling of the mattresses for us.
So essentially, you're gonna be providing the containers. Those are the two-wheelers containers that are big enough?
Yes, these are technically the containers that are the same size, a little bit bigger than the trash ones.
And how many of those you mentioned?
Well, this is a lot bigger than just $56,000 because we have around 26,000 households that we have to provide. So we are also working on another grant that is throughout the recycling partnership, and we're looking into combine the funds and being able to provide each resident with one free of charge. So there is a lot of logistics in there, and we are working on the other grant at this moment. So once we get those funds allocated, we're gonna combine the funds, and hopefully we'll be able to accomplish that goal.
So, and what is the estimate that the city might take? What is the estimate in terms of, for us, the city, to provide one of those containers to each resident?
Well, each container can be up to $80. It depends on how much we buy.
And Essentially, I have seen that in other communities that the recycling
Yes,
bins are
Methuen
bigger.
recently obtained the same grant that we are applying for, and they were able to do both carts, trash and recycling. But Methuen had to come up with some of the funds as well.
And do you have a rough estimate as to how much is going to be for the city to be able to provide that?
As of now, no, I have to first work on the grant, because if we're able to allocate all the funds to buy the recycling carts, we may not need to use any funds from the city.
And the you buying that through the current, contract that we have for trash pickup? Or that's a completely
The
different
Capital Waste
provider?
Services contract that we have has nothing to do with us buying recycling carts. We're not gonna buy it through them. We're gonna buy it directly through the state vendor, so that we can get a lot cheaper cost than if we buy them through the hauler.
So you're looking at the state vendor to be able to get that?
Correct.
Okay. All right, I have no more questions. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Councilor De La Cruz.
Yes, Ms. Rosario, are you planning to have an educational program through the high school?
Yes, definitely. We are working on having not only an educational program through the high school, but all the schools, including the charter schools as well.
My concern is that sometimes they recycle the papers, and then nobody takes the paper and they go to the trash. Then is there a plan to work?
That's
with,
why I have
recycling?
not sent any paper through the school, to the households with the kids, because I figure some of the parents may look into it and some may not. I am focused on providing the tools first into the households. I want to give you the cards so that you have no excuses into how to recycle. Because if I go out there right now and try to convince a resident, this is the reason why you need to separate the waste from the recycling, they're gonna tell me, well, the owner of my house, my landlord has not buy a recycling cart for me to do it. So technically that's like, okay, I cannot provide it right now.
No, we had that piece in place already.
Okay.
We have been getting a lot of education through the recycling coordinator that we used to have before. Most houses in Lawrence, they receive media's information, and they receive the containers. Now, the big problems that we have is the schools are not recycling papers. In the houses, my kids are 4 years old, and they do recycling, and we educate a lot of people in the neighborhood on Prospect Hill about recycling. And they know how to recycle, what to put in the trash, what to put in the recycling bin. The major problems are the schools not recycling the papers. All of those papers are going to the trash as a waste. And remember that paper can be reused. Is there a way that we can?
So as far as I know, when I started this position, I visit every single school, and all of them have either toters or containers for cardboard and for paper. They are supposed to be in compliance with the recycling of the paper, because if they're not, all the trash that goes from the households of Lawrence, also the schools, gets monitored by the state. And we have not received a single letter saying that we are violating the waste ban.
Okay, but still, I think as a large community the schools are, we need to emphasize just the school buildings to recycle the
Okay.
papers.
Yeah, we'll get hands-on on that then.
Yes,
Not a
and
problem.
that those papers are being picked up from the garbage company, because sometimes they put it outside and the garbage company don't come to pick up in the schools.
Okay, we'll look into that. I believe as of now, since we started working with Capital, I have not heard any complaints about the schools not being taken care of with their regular pickups. They have not.
Separating the bottles and the papers?
Yes, everything has been on compliance, because if they're not in compliance, the state contacts us automatically.
Any other councilor? Councilor Infante.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First, I want to say congratulations on obtaining this grant. The fact that it's the first time that we're receiving it, it's amazing, and it's, even though we will need more funding to accomplish the goal that the recycling department has, I mean, $56,000 is a lot, and it's definitely welcomed. I just have a question, because I don't know what this means, and I don't know if you do, but what does it mean that the City of Lawrence has earned 14 points?
Because we claim the things that we offer to the community and the things that we're able to achieve through the community, we claim it through the state as points. And we gain points as we can provide programs. Like, for example, right now we have the program to recycle the mattresses. When that time comes, which is gonna be this year, that's gonna technically earn us a point because we're offering that to our community. So we're offering a hazardous waste program that technically gives us also points. Is kind of the way of the state giving us back what we spend in those programs to be able to take all those van items from the solid waste.
Thank you.
Councilor Levy and then Councilor De La Cruz.
Thank you. Hi, how are you? So you said that we are gonna start getting the big bins.
I am working on a grant right now.
Okay, but not from this grant.
Not from this grant. We will have some funds to use because the state wants us to spend all the money this year, for sure. These RDP points grant, the $56,000, they want us to spend it, but we also have to have some money allocated for the money we're investing in our hazardous waste solids days. We spend almost like $4,000 only on, $40,000 only on that. Like to divert oil and all those hazardous waste items is very expensive, and we provide it to the public at a much cheaper rate, and some of them for free, but they do cost the city money. So we use these funds to pay for that.
So do you have like a practically an amount and how much it's gonna cost?
Not yet. I will definitely get back to you guys on this because this is a grant that I have to work on first. I'm allocating the letters of support. I have already the mayor's one. I'm waiting for the state to give us one and also the MRF that we work with. So it is a process to start the grant and apply for it. And then once we hear back from them, then I'll come back here to you guys and explain what we're doing and how we're gonna do it.
Okay, thank you.
Councilor De La Cruz.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Are you working closely with the EPA, the organization that is providing so much money?
Yes,
They have
right now,
$1 million.
we just team up with Methuen and we are working on the grant together as two municipalities.
But are you bringing the EPA to the city?
We are, yes.
They used to come in and they used to work here, but they stopped coming, but they are offering a lot of money.
Yes, and we are taking advantage of that.
Any other councilor? Since none, all those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thank you.
Good night.
Councilor, can I get a motion to take document 413 out of order?
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Document 413 is request, post, and fill a grant written position. Has been put on the agenda by Personnel Director Gina LeGreg. Madam Vice Chair.
Request and post and fill of the grant writing position, and it's being made by Personnel Director Gina Lacreca, and I submitted to the committee as the formal motion.
There is a motion on the floor to
Second.
approve the document. It's seconded by, who said it over here first? Seconded by Council Del Rosario. Discussion? Councilor Levy?
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome, Director LaGreca.
Hi, good evening.
She's just here just in case that anyone has any question. So it's not question, then the motion is on the floor.
This is a motion to reauthorize this position. There's a question? There we go, Councilor Rodriguez.
I just wanna, mention, sometimes we have, kind of going around, credentials, title, education, and I don't see this on this position. I think that it's like what you're asking. It's somebody that is well capable of doing the work. So a bachelor's degree in marketing or related field, previous experience in grant writing, fundraising preferred, a minimum of 4 years of experience, and you know, it's a lot of things. So if you can get somebody like that, perfect, great. Thank you so much for actually focusing on education to be able to get a qualified candidate.
Thank you so much.
Anybody else? Seeing none? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it.
Councilor President, two more items. The next item is 43222.
There's a motion to take document 43222
Ordinance Committee.
out of order. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Rodriguez. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Madam Vice Chair,
Yes.
committee report?
Item 43222 is a request to pause and fill the budget analyst position, and also by personnel director.
Good evening.
And that is made as a formal motion.
Motion is made to approve. It has been seconded by the representative. Discussion. We'll call the question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it.
The next document is 723, out of order.
So move. Second
Counselor, which document is that again?
is the,
Document 723. Motion's been made to take out of order. It's been made and seconded by Counselor Levy. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Madam Vice Chair.
Item 723 is the acceptance of the Mass General Law, Chapter 64J, the section of fuel use in the proportion of the jet fuel of aircraft. It was sent to the City Council with favorable recommendation, and I made it as a formal motion.
Second.
Motion's been made to adopt this item. It's been seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Discussion?
Yes.
Councilor Rodriguez, you have the floor.
How you doing? And welcome back.
Thank you very much, Councilor.
I just want you to have the opportunity, or to expand the opportunity for you to explain as of how this is going to benefit the city.
Sure. So this opportunity essentially was a change of law that the city's adopting. Prior to this, the propulsion jet fuel usage is any town. So in the case of Lawrence Municipal Airport, which 480 acres of the airport are in the town of North Andover. North Andover in the past was taking advantage of this tax on fuel, or this surcharge on fuel. There was a change in the law that essentially by North Andover, which provides no services to the airport, using this fees, was diverting monies out of Chapter 90. So the law was amended and changed for municipalities who manage airports outside of their jurisdiction territorially to be able to adopt this. So what you all are doing tonight, if you pass it favorably, would be to adopt this. This rates, and I think we talked about it during the committee, is not set by the commission. It is set by DOR. That is the rate. And so it's expected anywhere from $20,000 to $40,000 would be coming to the airport for the improvement of capital improvements of the airport and usage for the airport by the Airport Commission.
Just a follow-up question on that. In the state of Massachusetts, how many airports are that are not within the jurisdiction of the territory of the jurisdiction?
It's a handful, just probably less than 3. There are some that are in 2 communities at once. You know, you look at Western Mass, there's Barnes, Westover. There has Chicopee and a couple other towns that share it. But it's very unique. You know, in 1934, when the city of Lawrence applied through federal grants to run an airport, it was an opportunity that continues to remain very active, an active city, as you all meet fairly regularly, compared to a town municipality where town meeting would probably hinder the operations, the adopting, and so much of the other good work that goes on in conjunction of having a city title to run an airport.
Thank you so much. Thank you for everything you do. Before I finish my intervention on this, so for how long you been the director of the airport as of now?
Sure, I got here to the city in August of 2022.
So essentially, I'm looking forward, I'm pretty sure the councilors too, to have a tour to the place and be able to understand it from your perspective.
Absolutely. Councilor, you're more than welcome. I think we should connect tomorrow. We could schedule something. I mean, we'll have to do it. I definitely don't want to violate any open meeting laws by inviting the whole group, but we could, I could facilitate a one-on-one at any time.
That was the reason why I asked you before, like for how long you've been there, because I wanted to hear from your perspective as how this is doing. Then I have tours in the place before.
Sure.
But I wanted to, you know, whenever
Absolutely.
you're ready.
Yep. I'll make a note of that, and I'll be giving you a call tomorrow.
Thank you.
Any other counselors?
No?
Counselor Levy.
Thank you, Council President, through you. So the city of Lawrence is not the owners of the airport?
The city of Lawrence is the manager of the airport. The property is North Andover.
The property is
Yes.
North Andover.
North Andover, right.
So
So,
we
for
ha-
example, property taxes, any structure, without the exception of our buildings, any structure that's in the airport, they all pay property taxes to North Andover. The whole property's assessed about $2 million plus, and so that goes to North Andover. Any fees on the buildings, the leases that the Airport Commission provides, those go to the airport for the purposes of the management of the airport and the improvements upon it.
So practically that amount is coming to the city of Lawrence.
It comes, absolutely. So again, taxes are for
Are
the town
paid
of
to-
North Andover. Leases on buildings, on structures, are to the airport and the Airport Commission, City of Lawrence in this case.
And what is the percent again that we are going to get with this increase in?
So it's not a percent, but it's estimated anywhere from $20,000 to $40,000. Depends on, again, it's a fee that is set by the Department of Revenue, depending on how much fuel is sold from wholesale to the airport. So it's not what the airport sells to jets, it's what the wholesaler brings once those trucks get pumped and are brought into the airport.
So whatever amounts that we get it from there, it's not going to, it's not coming to the city, it's going to be expended right to the airport, no?
I want to be very cautious. I want to be clear on your question. You're asking if money is coming to the city of Lawrence from this adoption.
Yes.
So what you are adopting, based on the rules of Chapter 90, any monies cannot be diverted from the airport. It has to be used for the purposes of airport and airport improvements. So it's coming to the city of Lawrence Airport.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, so it's coming and it's going to be used
Yes,
on the
absolutely.
airport.
Yes.
It does not go to general fund. It goes specific, it's much like a revolving fund. It stays in the airport. It never goes for the city for any other use, has to be used, it stays in the airport. So it's $20,000 less that the airport would have to pay for operations. So it stays in there. The city of Lawrence, for instance, does not use that money for any other purpose. It just goes right to the airport.
Thank you, Attorney.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Any other, Counselor Infante.
No. So we just need to call the question.
I will call the question, Counselor. President. When was the last time you were here in official capacity, Director? What year was that? Do you recall?
I do not. I apologize. I don't. Was it a veteran-related event?
No, I'm
possibly?
talking about when were you working last in the Veteran Services Department here in the city of
Oh,
Lawrence?
2011.
2011. So this is your first time back.
It is.
In official capacity.
Absolutely.
Working for the city
Yes.
in 11 or 12 years.
Yes.
Welcome back.
Thank
It's our
you.
first time officially to thank you. So Rodriguez was going down that right lane, and I wanted to along on that,
No,
on
thank you.
those warm sentiments.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Especially as you're managing the Condon Airport, and I'd like to see more information about Mr. Condon on your website, because I don't
Sure.
see anything on it, because I was
All
just
right.
looking for it
Well,
just now.
guess
I know there's
I'll-
pictures over on the wall.
We'll add that to the note, Council
Please,
President.
add the list of to-do, that's right. If there's anything else on this matter, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it.
One more item. 434. 434. Out of order. Second.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Madam Vice Chair.
Thank you, Council President. So, item 43422 is proposed ordinance regarding recreation motorized vehicle registered and unregistered. And it was by me, it was sent to the City Council with favor recommendation.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded by the representative. Discussion?
And also, we're gonna order a public hearing.
Order a public hearing, do you
Yes.
sure? Huh? Oh, it's just to order a public hearing, wow. So the motion is to order a public hearing, and she made that as a formal motion.
That was a formal
And I
motion.
second that motion.
You sure did.
Yeah.
Proudly, I might add. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Ordering a public hearing on that.
Council President?
Lieutenant Cirillo, we're glad you can just take part of our civics
No.
process. You're probably much better off now having listened
Is
to
that
this.
I haven't seen you in a while. so I
Councilor
wanted-
Infante, you have the floor.
I
For
would
what
like
purpose
to
do you
make a
rise?
motion to take out of order item 427-22, under the Budget and Finance Committee. Payment for prior year bills, from Carlos Castillo, IT Director.
Second.
There's a motion to take document, there it is,
Second.
document 42722 out of order, seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Discussion, hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. I look to the chair, vice chair of the Budget and Finance Committee for the report.
Yes, the ordinance, the Budget and Finance Committee met and discussed item 42722. Previous year payment bills for $31,739.64. We send this over with a favor recommendation, and I would like to make this a form of a motion.
Second.
Motion made by the vice chair, seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Discussion? Seeing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Good night. Oh,
Yes, we still have
apparently we do.
two more items on the ordinance committee. Okay. Unless,
We don't have any public hearings tonight. However, as we asked the clerk, or at the last meeting, we did ask her to put together or provide information regarding, I believe there are 7 items under the title Matters Pending a Public Hearing. The clerk has been good enough to put together a packet of information with, I'm sure, is an explanation as to why these are here. Did you want to hand those out, clerk? What happened? Did you-
Whatever you say.
What is?
handle it to us and we keep moving on the agenda.
And I just have a quick update. I can put this in an email and send it to you, or I can just.
Is it a quick blurb? If it's a quick highlight blurb, like a 30-second blurb, go for it.
There's 6 documents that you had asked about. The first one is document number 140-21. It was a request for handicap parking, and it was not appropriate, or was deemed not to be appropriate by the city engineer, because a parking spot requires a full 20 feet, and the spot was about 10 feet wide. The solution that Mr. Jaime, the DPW director, has proposed is he can put up a sign that just says, "No parking," because it's about a 10-foot spot. It seemed like a very simple solution. The homeowner is happy with that solution because she can't get her handicap van in and out of her own driveway because people park so close to her driveway. So that one seems like it's resolved. Mr. Jaime will put up a
And I
sign.
know before moving out of that, it is important to recognize that before we actually request the specific spot that was denied, the police department and the DPW recommended the handicap parking on another spot. So the recommendation was done, but not for the specific spot that we requested, but for another spot that was allowable too. So that's the handicap parking. It is okay, but not in the right spot that we actually requested. So it's around the house, but not in the same spot. So it is a recommendation somewhere on the item.
All right,
Also, just to clarify, is that the preferred recommendation, or do you want to go with the,
Yes, I would prefer the handicap on the what's recommended originally.
so let's not take action on that tonight, but now we got it, we kind of know where you're going, perhaps we could deal with that at the next meeting.
Yeah, we can.
And is it substantially different than what was originally proposed, or is it within the same?
It's in front of the house, but not in the same size.
So it's in front of the house, but you just need to move it a little bit?
Meaning
So that
that,
would be,
we requested on Margin Street, the house is in the corner of Margin and Butler. So we requested on Butler Street, and they recommended on Margin Street.
I got you. So my only, and we can talk about this more later, but the only thing to consider is you've gotten different people who might be impacted by it, Margin versus Butler, and the public hearing notice was put out was for whatever, one of those streets.
I
And then we're
don't
gonna go-
believe that the public hearing was posted, no. That's what's pending.
We'll check into that. Excellent point. All right, next one, Madam Clerk.
document number 42-2022 was to add a street to the winter parking ban. And I went over that with Director Jaime, and they had gone to the city engineer for recommendation, and never came back from the city engineer, and now he's gone. So Director Jaime said he's very happy to review that and make a determination for us, and he'll get us that recommendation.
Okay, next, 103B, 22.
103B was with regard to two different ordinances. I brought that to Attorney Hooton. He said he will send us proposed revised language regarding those positions reporting directly to the mayor. Part of those also dealt with the modification of the salaries for those two positions. Both of those positions would have fallen into the report from the Collins Center, which wasn't completed at the time of that request, which was last spring. So that is already resolved. So it's really just the ordinance language, which Attorney Hooton will now get us, since we brought it back to his attention. That had gone to Attorney Ruano. He wasn't aware of the request.
Gotcha, 105-22.
Similar, that came in at the same time, and again, was with Attorney Ruano, and Attorney Hooton said he will review that. He's actually gonna review it with Ms. LaGreca, but they will get us some revised language on that.
Document 200-21.
200-21 is a four-way stop. That came back from the city engineer with a recommendation of no. The city engineer had advised against putting a stop sign at that location because it is a throughway, and it did not feel it was an appropriate signage for that location. Director Jaime also agreed that putting a stop sign at that location is not appropriate. Based on the nature of the kind of road, I think it was Hampshire Street or East Haverhill is, he did not think a stop sign at that location was appropriate. And he showed me on a map, it's a large, like two roads merging at a V kind of thing. And he's like, this is not really a place to put a stop sign. They recommended against it. That's why it had been held up, because they had recommended no. And then the last item was with regard to a handicap spot versus a 15-minute spot, which is what the property owner actually wants. The recommendation was not to grant it. You're tying up an entire spot for 15 minutes every day. They'd be happy to put a handicap spot there, but then anyone else with a handicap placard could use that spot. The person really needs it for their drop-off and pickup of a handicapped person. So if you're gonna make it for a 15-minute spot, they would recommend rather have it be a time of day, like loading or, pick up from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. or whatever the time is for that person. They didn't think tying up the spot that was the recommendation. That's why it was held up. The DPW was advising against it because you're holding up a whole spot for a whole day for 15 minutes every day. No one else will be able to use the spot. There's a situation going around where people like to have the spots in front of their home empty. They like that look. It's not really feasible in a city. So people are putting up handicap spots when they don't have handicaps. They're asking for 15-minute spots or no parking. It's really not, and Director Jaime felt that this might be one of those situations where holding up a whole spot for a whole day where someone really needs 15 minutes might not be a viable option. He was kind of advising against it.
Thank you, Clerk, for looking into that. We're not going to spend too much more time on it. I would just say that in some of those items that were mentioned, DPW/administration may rightfully have an opinion on that, but if this council wants to have a public hearing to have it, they should tell us their opinion, we should vote. We can either agree with their assessment or disagree with their assessment, but we need to have the opportunities. If a council puts something on and it's whatever it is, it could be 4 handicap parks and parking in a row and only one person there. The council wants to do that, and they order a public hearing, we should have the public hearing, and then based on the merits, we vote up or down. That's how we should do it. So anyway, I don't want to go too much detail on that, but we've got the information, we can research it. Feel free to talk to the clerk, and if you want to deal with it at the next meeting, just give me a heads up that's what you want to do, and we can figure out a way to make it happen. Thank you, Clerk. Budget and Finance Committee, Mr. Vice Chair. You were, where are we on that? The first one was 9921, MassDOT. Oh, can you? Councilor Levy, would you be willing to do the committee reports for 9921? 99? Did you want to do?
Must have to conflict of interest.
Okay, clerk has duly noted there's a conflict of interest for Mr. Rodriguez, and he's recusing himself. Madam Vice Chair, you have the floor.
As a committee report.
Yep, motion's been made to set up a committee report. It's been seconded by the Vice President. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Aye. I believe this was a favorable recommendation. This was a favor. If this is 9921, Madam Vice Chair, it was a 3-0 vote in favor. It was a favorable recommendation out of the committee. But anyway, we can make the motion now. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion been made by the Vice President, seconded by the Vice Chair. Discussion. Seeing none. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Madam Chair, just so we're, Vice Chair, just so we're clear, you want to take it over and explain the synergy? Vice Chair, I'm sorry, Mr. Vice Chairman, sorry. Looking for document number 37522, appropriation of.
Yes. The Budget and Finance Committee met and discussed the item 37522, which is the expansion of fund of $515,000 of free cash for the purpose of the redevelopment of the intersection of the 5 corner, which is Hancock's, Dolly's School and School Street. So that's part of the previous program. So I make part of the previous item. So I make that as a form of a motion.
Motion's been made, seconded by the Vice Chair. Discussion? This is just as a reminder, so there was 2 parts of this. One part was the DOT portion of it, the other part of it's going from free cash. Together, they're bringing almost $1 million to fix that. So all in favor, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Unanimous vote, it's adopted. Document number 42722, Mr. Vice Chair. Thank you so much for the correction. We did 429. I think the next one is document 0223.
Yeah, we met at the Budget and Finance Committee and discussed item 0223 and voted favorably, and I would like to make this a form of a motion.
Motion made and seconded by the representative. Discussion. A question from Councilor De La Cruz.
Yes, the information that we're getting is going to be used for the recreation department, but they couldn't specify. It was not specified On what?
Explain a little bit.
The recreation department is a big department.
I'll give a little bit of explanation as of what happened at the Budget and Finance.
Mr. Vice Chair?
Currently, part of the questioning was that we approved a position, new position for the recreational department for $65,000 back in June. Out of that fund, now the administration stated that they're going to be using this fund instead of an employee. They're going to use it for other purpose and service to hire a consultant to be working at the recreational department. It is important also to recognize that it was a 3-1 vote on the Budget and Finance. So that was the explanation that they presented, and that's how we word it.
Councilor Dela Cruz?
You still didn't answer my question. You don't have the answer for the question.
They say that it's going to be providing other purchase and services, and they're going to hire a consultant to do the work of the recreation department. So that's the answer.
Councilor Dela, okay, Councilor Dela
I mean, I
Rosario.
want to, just for point of clarification, if I don't remember, they didn't say a consultant, they say a contractor to do some type of work around parks and recreation, and it's a contractor that they're going to hire. The question was asked, what was the benefit? The benefits was that we haven't been able to hire anybody on that position and that money, so they're going to use, because there's work that need to be done on the park and recreation, and they need to use that money to have somebody as a contractor to work for park and recreation for those $62,000 that they will allocate it for salary for a new position.
Do you think that they will use the money? There is a problem on the light of the park across the library.
I don't
Did they mention anything about it?
That's a DPW expenditure, not a recreation expenditure for the lights at the ballparks.
It's the recreation, because when the baseball players are there, they are not having the appropriate light.
I do believe it's DPW that has control over it. Maybe they allow the recreation to do or help, but I believe the responsibilities for lighting the parks comes under DPW. I could be wrong on that, but I think that to be accurate. But anyway, your point, Counselor, is that it's dark, it should be better lit, or it's lit when nobody's using it. There needs to be better control, I think is what your point is regarding that facility. And I would, like any other counselor, I would encourage you to contact the director of DPW and potentially the recreation director as well. Both of them together should be able to get you should be able to get a positive response regarding that, I would think. Anybody else on this matter? Yes. Oh, I'm so sorry, Councilor Levy.
So another thing I was saying also to the community is that by the meantime, they're going to continue working on getting the director, and the position is going to be also put for the next year, the budget for the next year.
Vice Chair, the committee report says 4-0. Is it your recollection it was 3-1?
3-1.
It was 3-1. So we need to make that correction on the committee report to make sure it's accurate. Anybody else?
I mean, on the community report I voted yesterday,
Got it. Anybody else? Seeing none. Yes, sir. Councilor Rodriguez.
I have an opinion on this. Essentially, councilors, my point at the Budget and Finance Committee, it was around the needs that we have at the Recreation Department. It is unfortunately that we don't have anybody from the administration to be able to ask more questions and follow-up questions, but in the way that I'm seeing this, with not much information other than what they provide in front of us, is that instead of taking money away from the department, we need to allocate more. Even though we probably seeing like a contractor is going to come and slash vendors gonna come and provide services. What I think we need, with not much information, what I think we need is more than one employee that is being proposed. Now we have 2 employees at that department only, and having the need of a lot of recreation in the city of Lawrence. The way that I'm seeing this is providing a sport to the kids. It's providing more recreation to the kids. It's probably taking away kids from violence and being able to provide more to our youth. The reason that I vote no at the Budget and Finance Committee is because we don't need a consultant. We need people that we need to hire people at that department that really cares about sport, recreation, and all around our parks. So today, councilors, I encourage you to look into this, to place this, and request more information, because if we do this year, we're probably going to keep on doing it in the following years as having consultants. We don't need consultants for a recreation department. We need people that actually do the work. There is so much work on the department that need to be done. There is 2 people on the department only. This is the time that we need to hire somebody, because summer is coming. It's coming soon. This winter is mild.
Anybody else who hasn't spoken yet? Councilor Del Rosario, and then if no one else has spoken, then I'm...
Again, I don't know if I was out of the Budget and Finance, or if I missed anything. Not defending anybody. They say contractors, not consultant. And I voted yes due to the fact that the Recreation Department has some needs to be fixed. If we need parks for the kids to play, it needs to be fixed now. We need money. At the meantime, it's hard to me. It's hard to me to hire people. There's all kinds of open positions everywhere, not just in the city. And yes, we need to ask questions. Well, we had the administration here when they were here on the Budget and Finance. And again, I don't know if we can replay that. I'm gonna go home and replay, but to me, they say a contractor. Again, and a question was asked, what's gonna be the benefit of waiting to hire somebody and hire a contractor right now? And what they said was that they need to get things done for the Recreation Department now. And they need to allocate that money to use it to get what the Recreation Department needed now. And they're gonna continue to try to do the hiring while they do this work with a contractor, because the Recreation Department needs some work to be done.
Councilor, have you spoken on this matter yet, Councilor Levy?
I already said a clarification, but I want to do another clarification.
Sure, let's have Councilor Dela Cruz first. Have you already spoken? Then I'll go to you right after. Councilor Dela Cruz? Councilor Levy.
Just a point of information, what is the difference between a contractor, vendor, and a consultant?
I can answer that. A consultant,
Councilor, are you relinquishing the floor? Council.
My time now. Thank you. I'm not saying it shouldn't be used for the Recreation Department, but I wish that money will, to especially to the mess they leave, that it be clean for Sunday night, Sunday morning, and then by Monday, the place is clean, especially the place at I'm saying it is important to have somebody else who can do the work. I have it. I'm not saying the money is not going to be used for our prevention. If those parks lights are on at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, when the kids are there, that's perfect. What I'm saying is, they need to explain A, B, and C of what the money is going to be used for. And I think I have the right to do that because we just need it. Remember that we're talking to the public, they are listening, and they need to know where the money is going. That's all I want.
I'm going to look at Councilor Del Rosario, and anybody else wants to speak after that?
And I agree to my colleague, Del Cruz. I mean, it needs to be. And the difference between a consultant and a contractant, when you're contracting somebody, you already know what needs to be done, and that's the type of contractor that you're going to contract. When you contract a consultant, it's a consultant that is going to investigate and realize what needs to be done to then contract a contractor to get the job done.
It's a waste of time.
Yes. So if they need, if that's what it is, that they contract a contractors to get the job done, I mean, the job needs to be done. And I agree to my colleague De La Cruz, yeah, we need to know what kind of work needs to be done. I agree with that. But it's a contractor, not a consultant.
Councilor Infante has not spoken. Councilor Infante?
Thank you, Council President. From what I'm hearing, there's a lot of debates, and I'm getting the same message. At least this is how I'm interpreting it, that people wish the administration was here to explain this further. I wonder if my colleagues would entertain a motion to table and give the administration to be here and answer these questions.
Second.
Motion to go past 10 made by Councilor Levy, is seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Councilor, are you making a motion to table?
Yes.
There is a motion to table and further discussion on the matter, seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. I'll call the question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it, unanimous. We are tabling this item. What I believe is the 323, free cash, green communities. Mr. Vice Chair.
The Budget and Finance met, discussed this item, voting unfavorably 4-0 to appropriate free cash of $99,440 for the Green Community Grants Program. I make that as a form of a motion.
Motion's been made and properly seconded by Councilor Levy. Discussion?
Discussion.
Councilor Del Rosario.
3-1 on that vote, because I actually did not vote on that.
Let's make that correction. Thank you very much, Mr. Del Rosario. Anyone else? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Unanimous, the ayes have it. We did. 623, Mr. Chair, Vice Chair.
Yeah, the Budget and Finance also discussed item 623, which is the approval of contract of services for performed on prior fiscal years of 14,000. We all vote unfavorably, and I make that a form of a motion.
Motion's been made and seconded by the representative. Discussion.
Discussion,
Mr. Rodriguez.
The administration did a couple of videos, promotional videos for Christmas and other videos, and they oversee the bill, and so they're now looking forward to pay this kid.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Back to the ordinance committee. I think we have one document left, document 423. Madam Vice Chair? Why don't we do 430 first? I'm sorry, let's go right in order with that item 430. Motion made by the vice chair, seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. Discussion.
Discussion.
Councilor Rodriguez.
I always ask a few questions to the transfer person and the transferee person. Also to person that is bringing us this item from the police department. They are not here today, so I'll entertain a motion to table.
Second.
There's a motion to table by Mr. Rodriguez, seconded by Mr. Del Rosario. There's no discussion on a motion to table. I'll call the question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 Council President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion carries the table. The next document, Madam Vice Chair, is document 423.
Item 423 is the ordinance to restart the position of planning director. Was submitted by Mayor Brian Pereira for withdrawal. It was sent to the full council.
There's a motion to withdraw document 423. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Council Del Rosario. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Okay, we're done with the ordinance committee, we're done with old business. Under tabled matters, is there anything else we want to take out of the tabled matters? The representative says there's nothing to take out of tabled matters, so we'll move on. Because it's her birthday. Handicap parking for Bennington Street Ordinance Committee, 923, 15-minute parking, 6 a.m., 6 p.m., Monday through Friday, 359 Lawrence Street Ordinance Committee. Document 1023, stop sign request, intersection of Shattuck and Carver Street, put on by Councilor Stephanie Infante and Audrey Farrelly. That is going to the Ordinance Committee. Document 1123, 15-minute parking, 485 Broadway, Garcia Beauty Supply and Evolution, put on by Councilor Gregory Del Rosario, Ordinance Committee. Document 1223, 15-minute parking, 491 Broadway, Paula Express Corporation, put on by Councilor Gregory Del Rosario, is going to the Ordinance Committee. Document 1323, 15-minute parking, 461 Hampshire Street, Jacobo Supermarket, put on by Councilor Gregory Del Rosario and Ramon Bello, that's going to the Ordinance Committee. Document 1423, loading zone, Oxford Street, rear of 450 Haverhill Street, Councilor Giovanni Rodriguez, that is going to the Ordinance Committee. Document 1523, authorization to expend grant funds, Lawrence Cultural Council granted $3,000, that is going to the Budget and Finance Committee. Document 1623, 1 hour parking, 2 spaces at 264 and 266 Lowell Street, put on by Councilor Giovanni Rodriguez, that is going to the Ordinance Committee. Document 1723, surplus declaration, real property at 22 Hancock Street. That is going to the Housing Committee. Document number 1823, disposition of real property at 3335 Alma Street. That is going to the Housing Committee. Document 1923, ratification of 2023 election schedule, put on by the city clerk and the assistant clerk, Richard Reyes. That is going to the Ordinance Committee. Document 2023, determination regarding vote by mail and in-person early voting for primary and general election, put on by the city clerk and assistant clerk, Richard Reyes. That is going to the Ordinance Committee. 2123, 15-minute parking, 511 Broadway. That is the Latin Mini Market, put on by Councilor Gregory Del Rosario. This is a late file. We're going to need a motion requiring 7 votes. Is there a motion to accept this as a late file?
So move.
Second, motion made by Councilor Del Rosario, seconded by Selena Reyes. Discussion? 7. 7 votes. Yep. It really is. It's a big one. 7. Yep. Yep. Yep, sure is. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. There's 8 members here, unanimous. It is a late file. That is going to the Ordinance Committee. Document 2223, one-way conversion of Winter Street northbound from Essex Street toward Lowell Street, put on by Councilor Giovanni Rodriguez as a late file. I'm looking for a motion to accept the late file. Motion made by the representative, seconded by Councilor Infante. Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. There's 8 members here. It passes. Councilor, we're going to do committee reports, not committee reports, committee schedules. Before we get going, I just want to make mention, before the Personnel Committee, there is the city attorney's position. It has been, I sent everybody a text message today with respect to it. It has been 6 months since Raquel Ruano has left the city, and I think we've gotten the response from the administration saying that they were not going to put money at least toward hiring the headhunter, and perhaps not even putting money toward the additional expenditures, which puts us in a place where we have to figure out what we're doing. I don't have an answer, but I do think we need to get moving on that. It is before the Personnel Committee. I would highly encourage the Personnel Committee to meet so that something can be brought up to the full council so that this body can at least move and have some sort of direction. We have people who are waiting to figure out they've applied, and we have not told them what's going on after, of course, we've increased the salaries and all that stuff. So please. So with that, I'm going to look to the vice chair. This is very put you in a tough spot. Is there a night that the personnel can meet next week?
Tuesday at 6.
Is that?
Yeah. Isn't the ordinance at 7? Yeah, so I'm saying 6.
Okay, so
Before
6 o'clock, so here we go. We got 6 o'clock for personnel, 7 o'clock. And keep in mind, we've got this is one of those special weeks. We got 2 weeks to play with, but okay, next week it is. 1, 2. Budget and finance?
Budget and finance and housing.
Yeah, what do you got?
On the 25th.
Wednesday the 25th, for which one?
Budget and housing at 7:30. Budget and finance at housing at 6:30. Budget and finance at 7:30.
So now that I'm confused, who's at 6:30? Housing at 6:30? Housing 6:30, budget and finance at 7?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Anything else? We got anything else? We're good? Well, listen, I mean, this is the time of the program that we have to acknowledge at least one of our people who has circled the world, or at least the earth, one more time. I don't know why she's clapping. According to the clerk, she's the best. Very debatable. But okay, since it's her birthday, I just want to wish our good friend and colleagues, first of all, congratulations. I think the last time we had a state rep in our midst, I think it was Councilor Jose Santiago. That was many, many years ago. Was Frank here from, Mr. Moran? Yeah, I'm sorry, you're right. So it was Frank Moran, that's right. So the former City Council President, Frank Moran, was also there. So you're in some very good shoes. So we want to wish you, a very happy birthday. Thank you for all the work that you, congratulate you on your new position. And I think with your new position, you are going to be that much more of an advocate and an asset for all of us. And we're so happy that, at least I think we all are happy that you're there.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Who wants the floor, Madam Vice President?
I really appreciate your kind of words. But one thing that I want to express is that, yes, I am very happy with my new position. I enjoyed every single minute, but on back of me is something that is pulling me down, and is sitting here with you, sharing, debating, and sometimes laughing with all of you. This is my second home. Remember, the state is going to be my third. This has been my second home. It has been great 11 years, which I had enjoyed the most. It's always a place to learn. And one thing that I can tell you is the State House is no place to learn. You really have to go and be on top. But in here, you have time to make family, friends, and you see them on the street, you see the family, and you feel like you are part of that person. So that's the part of me that is always gonna stay here. And this is not a goodbye today, because you all know that I'm gonna finish my term. And this is what I hope. I was here, I was the State House all day today. It was my birthday. And I enjoyed it because I knew that I was coming to see all of you. But I'm also want to take this moment to extend this moment and pass it to also to Councilor Rodriguez for late birthday. His birthday was on Saturday. And happy birthday to you. Because as much as he blocked me and not liking me, I like that guy, I love his family, and we have a child in common who is Giovanni. So I do want to take this time, so I hope that in public, he can unblock my number, because it has been blocked for 2 years. I have to call people to give me his number, and I also have to use another phone to call to wish him a happy birthday, and he knows that because I have to use someone else's phone on Saturday.
Wow. We learned an awful lot this evening.
That is tough love, yes. So we see one each other, we hug, we bump one each other, but he still have me block my number. So that's gonna be my only wish for my birthday. And thank you all, because I received all your texts today, and I was made sure that I was gonna reply on time. I was at the State House, but I will never gonna forget you, and I will never gonna forget you.
Well stated, thank you so much. So on that note, we'll let you have the final word, Representative, this evening. Thank you so much, and belated happy birthday, Councilor Rodriguez. I can't believe you just turned 30. It's amazing. You look fantastic. Look really good.
And for both of them, motion to adjourn, and let's go celebrate.
Motion to adjourn has been made. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilor Infante. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it.